No, it's been okay.
Okay.
Sometimes it works. Hey guys, welcome to Legion of Creators. We're gonna get started in a second. Welcome, Beyond the Kai. All right.
Legion of Creators.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome to Legion of Creators, episode 31. So episode 31 of Legion of Creators, guys. Today I'm joined as always by my co-hosts Kenna and Luke, Ding of the Winger. So if you guys don't know, Luke recently just started up his YouTube channel again. So he's streaming again, doing really cool stuff. And so Luke and Kenna, how has your week been so far?
My week's been good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
And Luke,
no,
your week so far has been good.
it's been good, man. All kinds of new games, lots of games getting thrown my way. Dying Light, the Beast. I just
I
downloaded
saw you
that.
were playing that. I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like,
It's really
okay,
good. Oh yeah, and then what else? Borderlands 4. That's of the newer ones too. I started playing that recently.
that's pretty cool.
And we got Silent Hill F coming out in a couple days. It's a good year for games. It's
Yeah,
been good.
absolutely. I mean, I'm excited. I'm thinking about streaming the State of Play tomorrow, just because if we get that Wolverine trailer, I'm gonna be losing my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're gonna.
I think it's
Uh,
happening, man. I think it's happening. Welcome in, Jake. So today, guys, episode 31 of Legion of Creators. We got a lot of cool stuff to discuss with you guys. As always, questions, Q&A. Like we say, we got this mullet style. We got the topics in the front, Q&A in the back, like the mullet style. We're gonna start out today, guys, with I believe Kenna and Luke read Fantastic Four 2010. So we're gonna kind of share our thoughts on it. I have not reread it, but I have read the story before, so I'll try to follow along as best at what Kenna and Luke. I'm gonna kind of let Kenna and Luke lead this topic, and I'll chime in when I feel it feels relevant. But let's answer these chats real quick. Retro, I got the new Switch 2. Luke, Retro says,
oh, nice, awesome. I love it. Hold on, let me
okay,
pull up the comment section too, so I can read along with that.
go ahead,
But
man.
yeah,
Hey,
no,
Connor, welcome in.
that's great. Switch 2,
Yeah,
fun.
that's awesome.
The new Mario
Yeah,
Kart's fun. Did you get Donkey Kong? Uh,
did you get drunk, Donkey Kong? Yeah, welcome in, Connor. Good to see you, my friend. My day's going good. Jake, I don't think we'll get a trailer tomorrow, Joe. We may get gameplay. Hey, I don't give a fuck, man. As long as we get some good shit, that's all I care about. Like, if we're gonna get something, I just want something. If I get gameplay and I get to start seeing Wolverine shredding people up, that's good enough for me.
Can I answer Beyond the Kai's question? He
Yeah.
asked, "How many comics does it have the 2010 run?" So the specific 2010 Fantastic Four comic that I read was by Jonathan
Jonathan
Hickman.
Hickman.
Yep,
yeah.
and he's been running Fantastic Four from what I can tell since like 1985. But the specific 2010s run that he did, I believe only has 23 issues in total. So it's a lot. And he also has a lot of other comics throughout the years with Fantastic Four as well.
That's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know Ken and I had a good conversation on the phone a little bit. She filled me in a lot of the characters involved. So yeah, whenever you two are ready to kind of discuss the comic, the floor, if I could pass the mic physically, I'd pass the mic over to you. But yeah, 23, damn, yeah, for sure. All right, so Kenny, you want to lead this one, or Luke, you want to
I'll
start?
I'll start with the first like the first beginning. Basically, it starts after this big scroll event that happened to the rest of the Marvel characters, and Reed is guilty about what happened of like some of his friends dying or like they were close to dying, And so now he's on the mission to solve literally everything, to solve all the world problems because of it. And so he builds this bridge that lets him see other Earths to try to see what is the variable, what does he need to do to fix it. But he's kind of at a loss still. And Sue is also trying to be like, I understand that your work is very important to you, and I couldn't even understand how your brain works, but also, like, you've been distant, and your family's here for you. And also Franklin and Valeria, their children, are in this comic. They're little,
Right.
they're little, but they make a prominent appearance. And meanwhile,
That's pretty cool that they're.
Oh yeah, it's cool to
That's
see.
pretty cool that they appear. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool to see more Valeria since she wasn't in the movie. But she is the
I
second.
wonder how long until they'll introduce her. It'd be interesting to see.
It will, yeah, we'll see. But basically, while Reed is traveling through these Earths to try to find out how he can fix the problems of the world, it messes up kind of everything, and we see all these different versions of the Fantastic Four, and even the other Fantastic Four teams meet them. Like there's a cowboy version of them, pirates, in a medieval world, and the rest of the team kind of disappears. So it's just Valeria and Franklin's in the Baxter Tower. And Norman Osborn shows up because he wants to talk to Reed because it's after the Civil War, I believe. So he's still with the whole...
Or Secret Wars, right?
Or Secret... I think so. He wants to do the... Yeah. And he, like, essentially he's like, you know, don't be a superhero anymore, kind of, you know, whole thing. Or at least be under my control if you're gonna be doing what you do. And basically Venom makes an appearance, a small one. And basically Franklin and Valeria stops him from trying to break in. And then eventually...
I have a question. Is Venom like actual normal like Venom, or is he like anti-Venom in this like storyline?
He's like normal Venom.
Okay.
He seems to be... He only shows up once, really, and he seems to be just kind of Norman Osborn's like bodyguard in a sense. And
I wondered because, like, whenever I think, like, because, you know, Fantastic Four kind of falls into that part of Marvel where they go more cosmic, I'm surprised it's not Agent Venom in this storyline instead of Eddie Brock.
Well, you get that more in the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I feel that
That's
comes
true.
not too long after this, actually. Only, like, what, another 6 years later?
Okay.
Something like that. You know?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And basically, Franklin and Valeria, they're funny. I really like them.
They have good sense of humor.
Franklin likes to dress up as a cowboy, so he like shoots at Norman. And something about like he just had a toy gun, but like somehow I think this is relating to him gaining his powers. He actually does do damage to Norman's like shoulder, and then he freaks out. And then while this has happened, the Fantastic Four are back from all the Earth dimension stuff. They kind of go by it quickly, but they're back and they're like, no.
And when you mean Norman, you mean like Norman Osborn gets shot by Franklin?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
With a toy gun, but it actually does damage.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And basically, what I really like about it is that Franklin and Valeria are helping their family try to figure out all this stuff, but it never comes across like annoying. Like they're quite like I like how they still act like little kids, but they're also still competent in what they're doing. So it doesn't come across of like these meddling kids or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's not the Scooby-Doo story.
No. But they come back and then Reed kind of just like talks Norman, like is like, get out of here, don't talk to me or my kids again. And then that kind of ends.
That's interesting.
And then Sue's like, hey, don't do like the bridge thing again. And then Reed's like, okay, I'll take it down. And he does take it down for 2 days, and then he rebuilds it because he just can't help himself trying to discover, try to fix what he's trying to solve. And then eventually he meets up with like the Council of Reeds. We see all the different Reeds. And then...
Which I feel like, you get that because of the, like, trying to solve everything with, what is it called? The, multiversal bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, he's the, like, I love the idea of, like, he's trying so hard to solve something, and he ends up trying so hard to solve it that the answer he comes up with is like another problem too, even worse.
Well, that's the
It-
thing that people. That's the thing that people don't understand a lot when it comes to Reed Richards, and I'm curious to see how much they dive into this in the comics. But like a lot of people forget that because of the whole science side of the MCU, that the reason Reed Richards tinkers and meddles with a lot of technology is because earlier editions of Reed Richards have always tied into Reed Richards being the sole like mind behind the best version of Kang, because Nathaniel
Really?
Richards was basically all tied to that whole idea of like how they ever like. So if the MCU actually took Kang seriously, they would have actually been able to do some really cool stuff, because Reed and Kang have a very big history, and it's really interesting that they when they dive into like the whole idea of Nathaniel Richards and how all this stuff ties into it, especially with the Council of Reeds. That's how it all kind of comes together. So it's really interesting that like, you know, he still can't help himself. They even showed it in the Fantastic Four movie where he tinkers and meddles, and it's not always for the best.
Right. Yeah,
Sometimes
I think
studying something, it
this
leads to trouble.
this run too, I think, is like this is part of what made Jonathan Hickman such a big name that he is now.
I mean, he's an
Um,
iconic comic book writer. I mean, I
Right, and like the Council of Reeds, like literally that alone made this run something that was iconic, something that can be called back to on a regular basis. We don't necessarily get that at every Fantastic Four run that's out there.
True.
Like John, and it's why like they tried to reboot the X-Men big time a few years back, and they got Jonathan Hickman to kind of orchestrate the whole thing, and this is part of why. You know what I mean? Because he's one of those modern comic writers that has been able to like change the game. And I would say this is the jump to DC now, but Scott Snyder, our current Batman writer, like he did the same thing big time with the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
And that's why they lean on him so heavily now to kind of like do a lot of things going forward in the DC universe when it comes to comics, is because they've just shown what they can do. And I think this Fantastic Four run, and a lot of people love his Avengers run, New Avengers, I believe.
Yeah, his new
Um,
Avengers run is pretty good.
yeah, I haven't read that one, but yeah, those two are pretty praised, and I think that's just two.
Jake, I'll answer that off topic later in the show. I did watch
Oh, I
it,
still haven't
but
pulled that up.
I'll answer it later. I promise.
Sorry, I
I'm
haven't been
focused on
looking at
this right now.
comments.
Yeah, no, but that's yeah, it's really nice what Jonathan Hickman has really conjured up. I really am a big fan, and I know we're talking about specifically Fantastic Four. If I had to pick my favorite work of his, I really love his run of Secret Wars. Like, I think what he's been able to do with Secret Wars, I think, is very good. And as much as we can fight all day long on if Doomsday will be good or not, we haven't even begun to talk about Secret Wars. But I do hope that when Secret Wars finally happens, that as much as obviously the MCU wants to do their own thing and you can't always copy a comic, I really do hope that there is a lot of that Hickman DNA within the Secret Wars movie, because I think that it is such a good story. And I think that Jonathan Hickman in general, like with his Fantastic Four run, all his other runs, he did things for Marvel in terms of a writer that a lot of other people, I don't think they can say that they did.
Right.
Other than like maybe Jack Kirby and like the other like big ones. But like,
Well, I wouldn't go that far as to say Jack. I feel like Jonathan Hickman's good and all, but Jack
no, I'm
Kirby.
just saying like compared, like Jack Kirby's like the tip top of the iceberg.
Oh,
but
yeah,
this is
yeah.
like the next guy that's like really well known and well famous for doing really good Marvel comics. So
yeah,
that's
I
look
wouldn't. He's good, but I feel like there's a hierarchy. You know what I mean? Where you got like the Mount Rushmore of Marvel, which is like Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and
they're far above. They're far way advanced above Hickman. But
yeah.
Hickman does have some good runs that gets him some brownie points. Like,
Oh,
I
for
definitely
sure.
agree.
I put like Chris Claremont really up there, but not quite at the
all
top.
the other
You know what I mean?
but yet he I think he only really gets credit, not to discredit him, but I think if he didn't write something as big as Secret Wars, I don't know if he would get as much credit as like he
Hickman?
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
No, that
I
makes
feel like
sense.
he gets every time I watch people that are big comic book readers, I watch people talk about it. The absolute DC run is pretty crazy. No, I feel like the whole idea with Hickman, what he did with Fantastic Four, really good stuff. What he does with Secret Wars, really good stuff. But you just can't. I'm sorry, you can't be up there with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and all these legends. And yeah, don't even get me started on Steve Ditko, because some of the best Doctor Strange and Spider-Man comics I've ever read by Steve Ditko are just incredible. Like,
Oh yeah. And
so overall, I just feel like, yeah, you can't really touch those legends, but Marvel still does have, quite a few good writers in their comic branch. I mean, back in the day, they had really great storytellers, and I think that still today, I mean, making comics today, I don't know how many of them still write Marvel comics, but some of them. Last time I read a Marvel comic, I felt like it was still pretty good stuff. So I've seen a lot of people criticize and say the new the new Marvel comics aren't as good as some of the old Marvel comics, which
yeah,
that depends on the writer and stuff. But like, I've seen the new runs. I think they're not.
I think some runs have been good, but on a
Yeah,
whole, I think that kind of is true. Where
yeah. Oh, I agree.
Marvel does a lot of misstepping, where it's
Agreed.
like we're repeating this and we're repeating that, and I think that's why again,
I
I think
don't
that's
like
why
that they
they
ran.
grabbed Jonathan Hickman to try to do X-Men so they could kind of give
Yeah,
it a fresh
I don't
something.
like that they ran. That they ran Civil War again, just with Rhodey and Carol.
Oh, Civil War 2.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
it
think like,
wasn't good.
I mean,
A
it's
lot of
like
people don't
the
like Civil
first
War
Civil
2.
War. It was so beautifully done. It was so well handled. We didn't need to mess with it. Like, I don't know why. Like, I get that people want to reprint and make changes and stuff. But like, I really just don't
Well,
think it's
that's
necessary.
exactly Marvel Comics' current problem is they keep retreading old
Yep. Yep.
like
100%.
tracks. You know what I mean? Like they literally are like, "Hey, Phoenix, what about the Phoenix still? What if we did more stuff?" It's like you guys have done all this.
How many
They just
times are they going to write things with Phoenix? It feels like they've written Phoenix
right.
100 times.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, and it's kind of funny to be playing Marvel Rivals, and it's like, hey, here's the big symbiote verse Phoenix season, and it's like, yeah, because this is what you do, Marvel. You give everybody the symbiotes, and you give everybody Phoenix powers. What are you gonna
Yep.
do now, huh? Like they've already given everybody Mjolnir to Thor's hammer. Like
Yes, like
they
what are
do
they gonna?
stuff
What
like that all
changes
the
can they
time.
make? Like they keep giving the most powerful items to all these different characters. It's like as much
Right.
as they're cool concepts. Like what are you gonna do? Like
Yeah.
I remember when like the concept of like what if, and they start talking about Storm wielding Thor's hammer. And I'm like, who hasn't wielded Thor's hammer? You haven't did a freaking
Yeah.
comic
At this
crossover
point,
comic where
yeah.
Superman wielded the hammer. Like what the heck are we doing here? Like
Yeah. No,
I just
some Marvel. That's where it's like if you're going to include the entire history of Marvel comics, it gets so convoluted. But you kind of have to look at
Mhm.
it in snippets and pieces. Like I feel like it makes more sense that way. Like you look at the MCU and where Cap finally grabs Thor's hammer. You have to look at like a what if run with Storm or any character that finally gets Thor's hammer and just kind of like put that other story out of your mind. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because otherwise it will devalue something and you shouldn't let it do that. That's just the world of comics. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like try to get the value you can out of everything.
yeah.
But
Underground Marvel's still writing comics. They
I feel
still.
like oh yeah, of course they are. Um I kind of feel like we railroaded you a little bit there. Kind of. Do you want to keep going
Yeah,
about?
sorry,
No,
Kellen.
it's okay. It's okay. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm just trying. So after that comic issue was done, um, there's actually a funny bit with Franklin where his favorite superhero is Spider-Man, and Johnny gives him
Yes.
shit for it, and I find it really funny. He's like,
That's funny because Johnny and Spider-Man are tight.
well, maybe I don't know.
Makes
Maybe
sense.
he's just jealous because he's Uncle Johnny, but he's not
Yeah,
Franklin's
he's not the Human
hero.
Torch.
Yeah. It's and like there's a comic issue. It's later down. There's other things that happen, but then there's a comic where it's Franklin's birthday and Spider-Man shows up as like when you hire kind of like Disney princesses at a birthday party, like that thing. I thought that was cute. But before Franklin's birthday, after the whole bridge, back to the Council of Reeds actually. Back to that. It was really I really loved seeing all the different reads. I think they were like the designs of them were smart.
Right.
with like there was even like a fat Reed, and I'm like, that's funny. And
Funny
then
underground.
and then they kind of do like little missions together, like saving the world because it's the Reeds. But and then our main Reed that we're reading with, he in a thought bubble he goes, I never murdered anyone. I don't want to kill anyone. But then he admits that he did kill one version of Galactus with the Reeds in one Earth, and then he goes back to his family like it didn't happen, or like he tries to act normal about it.
Right.
And then Mole Man shows up a bit. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping from certain.
No, you're
points.
fine.
Yeah. And then Mole Man shows up, and he's like, we found a dead Galactus in, like, the core, or underneath the Earth. And, like, it's the omen, the sign, like, something like the ending of the world or something, if I remember correctly. And then, I can't remember what they did with, like, how they continued that. I think they took a pause a bit, because they were like, well, we got to figure this out, but there's a bunch of other things that are happening, too. We'll have to worry about the Galactus skeleton later. And
Foreshadowing.
foreshadowing, yeah. And then one Reed from the council, he betrays them in a way, more like he was forced to share their location to the Celestials, and then the Celestials showed up to the Reed Council, and they have to fight them. And I think, if I remember, they kind of defeat them, I think, or they defeat them for the most part. I think they're more like they get away. I do think some Reeds die from the Celestials, but our main Reed is safe, and he goes back to his Earth.
Right.
Uncle Johnny, yeah. And then I'm trying to make it.
Yeah. So Chris said, is the X-Men comic good these days?
Oh, I haven't read X-Men in a minute.
I've heard some are not. I know like the only I think what's kind of hurting X-Men a little bit is some of the comic runs that include Kamala, where like they don't know what they want to do with Miss Marvel, where like she was an Inhuman, but now she's a mutant, so now she's part of the X-Men. Like they don't really know what they're kind of doing.
Well, like when they tried to reboot X-Men with Jonathan Hickman, it really didn't go like all that great. I feel like I don't know. People tried to stick with it. It was like too much. That's the other thing with Marvel and like their current events. Like I tried to stick with them like hardcore for a little while actually. Was it like 8 years ago or something? It was when that War of Thunder or Battle of it was some giant War of the Realms. War of the Realms. It was a giant comic event, like Marvel wide, but it was all Thor based. It was kind of like a Secret Wars, like with the Battle Worlds type deal, with like multiversal War of the Realms, all the realms like coming together, fighting this giant war. And I signed up for the entire thing, like every single spin-off comic, everything that was related to it, anything. If there was a run that was running into it and going to cross over with it, I was getting that entire run. I got everything. And man, you would end up with like over 100 comics for this one event. And the whole thing, like you would read it all and be like, I don't even know what I just read. Like this whole thing is so yeah, it's so confusing and convoluted. It's like so much is just thrown together and it doesn't feel cohesive. Like, and I just Marvel tries too hard.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they want to sell like a million things. They sell everything for a higher price. DC literally is like, hey, here's Metal. It's 6 issues. There are some crossovers. There are a few here and there. Like the total event ends up being like 30 issues. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. Like Marvel will go so far. And like when Jonathan Hickman took over X-Men, oh my god, it was the same. I couldn't even. I think that's what broke me is because War of the Realms was so much. I was like, okay, now I know what that's like. I'm never doing that again. And then when like X-Men showed what they were gonna do, it was like,
Yeah.
no, absolutely not. I can't do that.
I
And
do agree that like it's too like they're trying to make they have a problem with retreading old big grand moments in the comics like Civil
too.
War and Secret
Yeah.
Wars, for example. But then they're like, well, we got to switch it up, right? We got to make a new big thing. But then, like you said, with the Thor War on the Realms, like
yeah,
it could have been something great. I like the idea doesn't
Maybe.
sound bad, but the way that it was run and trying to make it like forcing it to be a grand thing without actually having good build up to it.
I
That's-
swear to God, if that's what Thor 4 ends up being.
I mean,
Oh,
maybe
so
the movie
I-
might be better. I don't
sorry,
know.
Thor 5. I mean, not Thor 4.
Yeah, Thor 5.
Well, let's
I mean,
get the
maybe-
director work. Let's get the director first, and then we can talk about what the storyline is. Like, I just want Amora. That's all I care about is doing Amora. That's because I think like every other villain they've done, they've scraped the barrel of Thor villains. If you're gonna do Thor, do Amora now because you haven't done her yet. So, what did Retrolad say here? He said, "Want to do a DC animated podcast next movies, animated series, and future next week." I mean, well, that'd be kind of cool. I know
That's a
that.
cool idea. We could just do like an animated thing in general. Like we could throw
Yeah, I wouldn't
Marvel
mind that.
Zombies on that, and then like let's do maybe like
That would fit the theme. That would fit the theme because then we can dive into all the animated as well. Hey,
Well,
hey Melissa. Yeah.
What?
No, I like that idea. I like the idea of doing and we'll make that the theme next week, and we can talk about it when we get on Rivals together. Too.
animated comics.
So I wanted to
essentially.
play with you guys after the stream too. If you guys want to play Rivals a little bit or not, I didn't know if you guys were feeling it or not, but I was feeling like playing some Rivals and discussing some things for next week with you guys. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so doing a DC animated podcast next movies. Yeah, I like the idea. Yeah, Marvel Zombies. We were gonna talk about Demon Slayer Infinite Castle during this stream at the end, Chris. But if you want us to, I guess since it fits in the animated theme, I guess we could wait till next week. It wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Talk about what? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Like talk about all the different animated stuff, and then you mentioned adding Demon Slayer Infinite Castle since Ken and I
Demon
saw
Slayer.
at the end of it.
Right. I mean, no, I think you should end with Demon Slayer if you want. You know, it just came
Yeah.
out and
What are you
everything,
feeling?
so.
Do you want to wait till next week, or you want to do it at the end of this show?
It's fresh, you know. I
Yeah,
think we
let's
should
just do it at the end of this show, and then we can
Yeah.
focus all the other
Yeah, I think that was good.
stuff next week.
And I mean, if you still want to talk about it in a
Marvel
week,
Zombies out already? So Connor said Marvel Zombies was good, but I felt like 4 episodes wasn't enough. Is it out already?
yeah, it
Did it
came out
come
today,
out?
right?
Oh,
When
Yeah,
I
it
have
came
not been
out-
keeping up with the release dates.
Remember,
I
Joe, we
think
said we didn't want to talk about it today because it came out today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I knew it was going to come out earlier. I would have had us watch it prior to, and we could have watched it today. But
Yeah,
'cause
no, I
expect
know,
it to
but-
come out at like 7:00 at night or 8:00 when we're doing our stream. But if it
Wow.
dropped earlier, then
Yeah, it was probably like around 11 or something.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's best to wait for it.
yeah, we'll do it next week. That's fine. I'll have time to watch it. I might watch a couple episodes. Might start it tonight. Who knows? We'll see how I'm feeling.
But to go back to like kind of piggybacking off like Luke's like the whole Marvel doing too much. I think that's what's so great about Fantastic Four, and I really feel like I've been missing out because I was always into Marvel, but Fantastic Four team was kind of a team that I was aware of, but I never really got into them.
I
But
agree.
now they're like one of my favorites. Like I think
They're
like,
amazing.
yeah, and what's so great is that it's a small superhero family. So what's great is that they're versatile in the sense where you can just really have kind of a closed off story with just about the family and their enemies, but you can also do great other stories where they do cross over with everybody else, but it doesn't feel out of place when they do because the characters themselves are just great.
You know, it's kind of funny because I listen to a lot of podcasts that talk about old comics and stuff. And, you know, like one angle I hear a lot is that Avengers comics kind of suck. You know, like they're not that great. Like the Avengers, like even the
No.
old ones. And
People
they're
only
slow.
yeah.
You know, like, but I think part of why that is because Avengers comics is so much like beat 'em up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
and
They're all
um,
action. Yeah.
right, exactly. And the X-Men, you have real dynamics. And the
Mhm.
Fantastic Four, you have like family and you have like just more going on.
Right.
You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
Fantastic Four is like blood related family, and then like X
right,
Men is like more found family. I've seen people
right,
describe them many times as like everybody thinks because of the movies, the Avengers are like family to each other.
right.
Yep.
But no,
And I think in the movies they are to a certain extent, but
sure.
it's not a deep connection, and especially not in the comics. They're more just like co-workers, and that's
Well,
why people don't really feel connected to them as much compared to the X-Men
it's
or
funny
Fantastic Four.
that, they're the ones that really made the cinematic universe pop off because
Right? Yeah.
it makes sense too, because like looking,
They're the
and I don't know
action.
if this is what they thought, but like it's an easier concept than these other teams. Like,
Yeah.
look at how hard they tried with Fantastic Four, and it took how many
Literally all
attempts,
the
you
past.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like Avengers really wasn't ever that difficult. That's the thing, like, and sure, not anyone could have made that first movie, but and then they nailed it, they killed it, but like I feel like you just have an easier material to work with. Like the only dynamic that truly happens in Avengers besides, hey, we got to fight the villain, is we fight with each other sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a recurring theme that
right.
definitely.
That's
or
really
or
it. We,
or
we squabble,
the
like,
relationships within the team are only two people. Like you have a Black Widow and um
Hawkeye,
Hawkeye, right? And they've
yeah,
always been
Scarlet
close.
Witch,
Yeah.
and Vision.
Or kind of Tony. I mean, the big Civil War movie, it was Tony versus Cap, right? So like they have
Yep.
their own beef going on. So yeah, no one was like they cared for each other, but like it wasn't emotionally deep enough.
And that's the thing, like when you think about these dynamics, that Iron Man and Captain America have been, well, they've been teammates throughout Marvel Comics history, even before Civil War happened. They've been at each other's throats, and the MCU played off that even before Civil War. If you watch the first Avengers movie, when you see these characters first come off each other, they're already at each other's throats consistently
Yeah.
because of their different ideologies. Like Captain America's going like, "Oh, I've been a soldier for 70 years," to like literally trying to push Tony to, hey, you're a superhero now. You're in this world.
Yeah.
You're kind of selfish, bro. I kind of need you to start
I
doing
think the line that really says that is the would you lay on the barbed wire? And then
Yep,
like
yep,
Iron Man's like, well, no, I would just cut it. You know what I mean?
yep.
And it's like,
Always a way out, huh?
yeah, exactly. And it's so well done, that first movie.
I love that interaction. I love that
I
first
also
interaction.
think what's smart about the beginning stages of the MCU to make people seem like the Avengers team are more of an interesting dynamic. Not only were they easier to adapt, but also we only got in solo movies with them first. So we were more invested into the individual characters, I believe, than the actual team. But because we were already invested in the characters individually, so when they teamed up, we were like, oh, we all care about these characters being together.
Right.
And we didn't
They
even.
they brought together that feeling that the early 60s bullpen uh like Marvel Comics did, like where it was like, wow, it really feels like there's a universe here and it's coming together
Yeah,
and everything's connecting. And yeah, it was just the first thing to really be able to do it. And it was a magical time to look back at as a comic book lover for
yeah. I
sure.
thought that was amazing in the way that they played off of that. I thought that really was developed into something kind of amazing. I really think that what they had, like when you think of like the comics and how they brought,
But
I think the thing that people don't talk about often enough is because we now think it's so interesting to like constantly like shit on current Marvel, right? But I think if you look at like phase one, there were blueprints that they were still using some comics to build their foundation. Like you could still
oh
feel
yeah, of course.
that in the beginning there was DNA within what they were doing. And I really hope that this is one thing that kind of concerns me. I really hope that moving forward, obviously, like I want Marvel to do better. I want Marvel to do more. So like with the reboot the X-Men, I hope it's not like the Jonathan Hickman situation. I hope that when they reboot the X-Men with the guy that did Thunderbolts, I hope it feels fresh. I hope it feels different than what Bryan Singer or what any of the other people have done
Right.
with that. And then like I hope like at the same side, on the DC side of the spectrum, since we're talking DC and Marvel, because DC is like kind of hot right now, I hope that James Gunn will constantly keep this through years to come, however long the DCU lasts. I hope that not just now in the beginning of the Silver Age are they still looking at comics. I hope moving forward they're still looking towards these great
I
stories.
think as long as James Gunn is a part of things, that will always be a part of it.
Because that's why I'm pushed to DC more, is the fact that every time he gets on the mic, he's talking about, oh yeah, we have an idea for this storyline that we adapted off of this. Like, my wheels in my head are just kind of like, the inner nerd in me is just so giddy, just like thinking about, oh shit. So like you watch Superman, you're like, oh man, totally bits of All-Star Superman here. Love it. That's great. And then they're talking about Man of Tomorrow, and you start getting so many great ideas there. And even like little subtle things in Peacemaker, even though Peacemaker is an original thing, it's like, it's so cool just to think about like what they're doing and like where it builds to, and like with Marvel, you know, I just want that. I just want to feel like I'm watching a Marvel movie.
It really is
like a comic book fan again.
Like Marvel walked so DC could run. It really, like, in a lot of ways, you know, like when it comes to the cinematic universes, at least. And like, I think that kind of also goes with like Marvel walked while DC tripped on itself.
Yeah.
And now it learned how to walk, and it's starting to run. You know what I mean? Like, because you had a horrible DCU before this one. Yeah. With.
Yeah. To correct us from the chat, they said that Marvel Zombies comes out tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some people had early access.
Honestly, I didn't really know. I was kind of going off everything I heard. So.
Yeah, I was heard that too. I thought what Connor said, it seemed like it was already out. But Jake Correction did it. And then Chris said the DC Studios podcast is getting an award, I heard. That's really cool. I think that's awesome. I've been watching that podcast, and I am generally a very big podcast guy. Like watching podcasts even before preparing for my own. I always loved listening or watching whatever podcasts there are. But like the crew they got together, like it's super cool. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a YouTuber that's pretty famous on that podcast that like he's just been like making his own content and being on a couple different live shows. And they saw potential to him, and he writes his own stories. And now he's like one of their top editors and appears as like a lead spot on that DC podcast, which I think is super cool. And so he's with the I think it's called the Real Rejects YouTube channel. One of the guys from there is actually one of the lead like guys on that podcast now, on the DC Studios official podcast. Some YouTuber is just like, his comic shit is so good. Like, he's the fact-checking guy. We're like, on the show, they'll fact-check all the stuff.
That guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's pretty cool that he's, like, on that. And I like what Chris's question was here. Why can't Marvel do what James Gunn is doing, podcasts and more interviews? And so the thing I think that leads to, Chris, is that there's different things, and I mean this in the nicest way, no one at Marvel is passionate enough about Marvel to do more than what they're required to do. And that's the real truth. Is James Gunn, he's making these movies, he's making these TV shows, but he's making these movies and TV shows with his friends. So he wants to talk about these things because like they're over there talking about Green Lantern versus Superman because he's on a podcast with his wife and then all his best friends. Like, if you were in his position, you'd be doing the same thing. You get to be with your buddies. Where at Marvel, it's all business and no talk. At Marvel, it's, hey, we're trying to make money. Disney's breathing down our neck. You know, I'm doing Feige. I need to go do
this is what the studio wants.
All the movies that are coming out.
I also think there's a difference between DC's secrecy and then versus Marvel's secrecy when it comes to their new projects. Because James Gunn is very out there with it, right? He's
transparent. And that's the whole thing about this podcast. He's showing how transparent he truly is.
Which is so funny, too, because, like, I don't know if we talked about it, but I was telling Kenna this. Did you know that there were cameos in Multiverse of Madness that was supposed to happen, right? That were openly in the script, Luke? And the second Kevin Feige finds a fan that leaks out an idea that he had or, like, something that was in a script that he wanted to surprise people with, Feige hates spoilers. So if a scooper comes out and says Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider is going to be back in Multiverse of Madness, gone, out of the movie. Just he just takes it out instantly. Like, he hates ruining surprises so much that if someone gets wind of what he's doing, he removes it immediately. Like
But it's
reshoots.
like, I don't know, because the kind of surprises that they're having are things that just everybody's been asking for a long time,
Yep.
like
Yeah, so
Spider-Man.
it's like, why would you not let people just like Spider-Man was the worst kept secret? Why would you not just let people like the 3 Spider-Man in No Way Home? We all knew they were going to be in that movie, but we still grinned from ear to ear when we saw them. So, like, if people come with did we lose the surprise not getting to see them? Like, yes, obviously we weren't shocked, blown out of our mind. We knew it was going to happen at some point, but I feel like we were just happy to see them. And I think it shouldn't always be about preserving a surprise. It should also be about, do the fans want to see this?
We'll also look at what they're currently doing with the new Spider-Man film right now. They immediately said Yelena is going to be in there. Like,
yeah.
Because it's so weird because they want to keep secrets, right? They don't want leaks because they want everyone to be surprised, right? But also at the same time, they are desperate for people to go see this movie. So they are just saying this character's going to show up in this movie, this character's going to do that, blah, 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 blah. And then they think that people will come. But my thing is, like, Spider-Man is like one of the most popular characters ever. Like, when you ask somebody to name a Marvel character, Spider-Man 99% is gonna be the first answer that they say.
Yeah.
So to even try to be desperate about a Spider-Man film and already saying that Yelena is gonna be there and all these other characters, try to hype up the movie more, is just unnecessary. And
we don't even know
who does
what her
that
role is in the movie. She could be like a 5-second cameo. Like, we don't even know what her role is. Like, they're talking about Punisher, we're talking about all these other characters, but I've heard nothing about what Yelena's purpose of being in Spider-Man is. Like, I'm just kind of so convinced that they're gonna have Yelena at the end of Spider-Man to go, hey kid, we got Doomsday heading up. We kind of need you. Like, I feel like it's gonna be kind of one of those recruitment.
Yelena is gonna be. I'm answering a question. Yelena is going to be involved in the plot. My guess is she's like, well, I'm in the New Avengers, which, by the way, I hate that. I wish they kept the name Thunderbolts. I feel like that's such a better team name than the New Avengers.
But that's the whole story of like
right.
the Thunderbolts.
And I get it.
You know what I mean?
And I get it. Yeah, I understand it, but still, I'm like, I'm still gonna call them Thunderbolts. I don't know. I just feel like that rolls off.
They still
better.
kind of are, and I'm sure they'll still be called Thunderbolts by certain characters.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But I totally think that there's probably going to be either a team up will happen or a discussion of a team up of the New Avengers with Spider-Man, or Spider-Man's going to join the New Avengers, something like that.
They could totally do something like that. Well, I've been wondering about that because you know what I've noticed that's kind of interesting. We've been talking about Spider-Man being in Doomsday for a long time and what we think his role is going to be, and it's really interesting. Because I have 2 state of minds with this situation. There are 2 end credit scenes I see happening at the end of Spider-Man, and we're either going to get one or the other, right? So my one prediction is if we get the Yelena route, then because he was an Avenger, but now because the Avengers, in the comic when they did the New Avengers, you had Wolverine and Spider-Man, and even EMH, they started bringing him into the New Avengers way. So like they either could do it where Spider-Man joins up with the Thunderbolts because he's kind of an outcast now too. He's not a part of this I hate the New Avengers name because the New Avengers that Sam Wilson leads are the New Avengers in the sense that they're the new team, right?
Well, even before that, man, like New Avengers goes so far back. It goes back to the actual first time they did Civil War.
But like, I just don't see Spider-Man taking orders from Sam Wilson. Like, I just don't see Spider-Man sitting there with Sam Wilson on that team.
The Civil War graphic novel, is like a remake of Civil War when it actually happened in the current, like the single issue comics.
Keep telling yourself that, buddy.
I think my thing is, I think I wouldn't have a problem with the New Avengers if there wasn't already the Young Avengers. He's talking to
I figured.
I was mocking Silver just because I keep deleting him in the chat, and the last thing he said was Zack Snyder was the MVP. Lame gun sucks. And then he said something like Zack Snyder has better skills than James Gunn, and people won't accept it. And then I was like, keep telling yourself that.
But yeah,
I mean, you can like Zack Snyder all you want, but like I think
Yeah, I was talking to someone about this the other day, and I talked to my buddy Alex, who was a big DC fan. We both have said, look, James Gunn picks up the phone, calls Zack Snyder, do Dark Knight Returns. I'm all for it. I'm all for him making an Elseworld movie. He just can't make his career at DC
that would
is not
probably
done.
be sick.
He just does not do well he's not good for the DC cinematic brand as a
But
a
like,
unit.
if they were working together and you could
Yes.
get Zack Snyder's dark grittiness in a James Gunn like production where like
Yeah.
everything lines up in the universe and it all
Yeah,
makes
that would
sense.
be awesome.
Oh
My
yeah,
thing is,
you would have a
if they
great
worked together,
movie.
I'd have to see them work on an Elseworlds because I don't want Zack Snyder anywhere near DCU Batman because of the fact that I don't after his comments about what he talked about with both what he did in the Snyder Cut and what he talked about in BVS, he says that Batman needs to kill, and that guy just doesn't understand Batman, in my opinion. Like
I mean, maybe you could have him do the Killing Joke.
if they did something like the Killing Joke, or if they did, I think he clearly wants to do Dark Knight Returns, so give it to him. Let him do
He already
Elseworlds.
did it though. That's the thing. It's
Or
like that's
But give him a
basically
movie
what.
maybe he could do Flashpoint Paradox. Because here's my thing:
Yeah,
is
he could
that
do it with Thomas Wayne. That'd be fine.
that's what I was gonna say. If he really wants to do a Batman with guns, use Thomas Wayne's Batman, not Bruce.
Right.
Because
Oh, yeah.
That would be fine.
I'm all
Do
for
Flashpoint.
Yeah, I'm all for different versions of these characters. But when it comes
That'd
to
be
the
cool.
Batman, me personally, I really just drawn the line of Batman using guns or killing anyone. I think it's fun to
I agree.
explore storylines where like he's close to that point, like he's falling off the edge.
No, I think it's.
But
Sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
no, sorry, it's okay. But like, I think it's fun to like see like how further can he go, right, until he goes to that point. But I don't ever want to really see him get there. I want to see him being close to it, but then eventually he holds himself back.
Yeah, no, I think that very much shows it's a good character trait of Batman,
Yeah, I think
especially when
that
it comes to
makes perfect
Joker.
sense.
I
know.
also think just when you're doing alternate versions of characters in general, Marvel and DC, you can again totally have fun with different versions, like go all out. But I also believe that there are just certain traits that no matter what have to stay, depending on the character. Like they have.
Let him run
I think
going
that
super crazy on those Absolute series. Let him run something like Absolute Batman or something like because that'd be kind of fun. Like I mean, there's other concepts that they could do, like just different things, and like yeah, it's just the thing with him is just the idea of his character, the idea of Batman. The people that understand Batman, like Matt Reeves, like James Gunn, all these other people, they get the idea of like kind of says like the character trait of like knowing that he can pull back when he's pushed to that brink. Joker has killed hundreds of people, but Batman stops himself at every turn from knowing I could end this man's life right now. I could easily just snap his neck, end it all. It's over. But then if I do that, I basically prove him right. And that's the thing that I think is so beautiful about Batman as a character is that you see those traits. You see that he struggles with that every day.
right.
And then like
He's
like,
this intensely dark character, but still he cannot bring himself to the point of ending somebody else's life. You know what I mean?
because the point of him for being Batman was to help people and to stop them from being murdered. It was not to.
He believes in rehabilitation. That's why he always puts his villains into Arkham, even though they're gonna escape again.
Even though Peacemaker gives a shit for doing that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the Joker will always be an interesting case because, like, is he ever gonna be rehabilitated? No, but that doesn't mean that what Batman believes is wrong or that he is an idiot for believing that his bad guys are gonna be good again. Because look at like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn; they're more anti-heroes now, and they can still be bad, but like for the most part, they've kind of stopped being super villainous, I suppose.
If I could write a Batman story, I would like something I feel like nobody ever talks about is like Arkham Asylum, right? Everyone breaks out of Arkham Asylum.
Mm-hmm.
But Bruce Wayne is the one that has like all the money. Like, he's the
Yeah,
one that
but-
could literally make it so Arkham Asylum was way better. You know what I mean? And like not have to have potential breakouts all the time.
I
But
mean,
that
you could
was
add some like Wayne Tech in there, make it so people can't bust out all the time,
I
and
right.
think
do
I
something to
think
improve it.
I
But
do
that's
agree.
part of the story.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think so now I'm taking that concept, that idea. And what I would do that would be a kind of a cool twist on the whole Batman story would be like, okay, he improves Arkham Asylum, or like the criminal like rehabilitation
Yeah.
centers and everything, right? There's like next to no crime left in Gotham.
Yeah,
And like now he has nothing left to do, and now he starts to go crazy. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
that's
Like,
great.
Yeah.
you could tell it
Chris
would
had
be
a
very
question
cool.
for me. I'm
Something
trying
fun
to
to play with, you know? Like, I feel like it's an idea that hasn't really been explored.
Yeah,
And
I think that's a good point. So Chris had a question for me real quick. What's your thoughts on James Gunn talking about Batman in the Lego Batman behind the scenes game? Do you trust James Gunn more with DCU Batman? So here's my thing on that, Chris. I feel, let me remove this real quick for a second, because it's blocking the screen. I really feel that like even though like I do like what he did with Superman, you can, and I talked about kind of with this. I really feel with the amount of time he's taking with like he's already greenlit another Superman somewhat film. The fact he's taking so long with Batman means he's taking care, and not that he didn't take care with Superman, but like Batman is a much more complex character than Superman, and it shows to me that he cares enough about the character that he wants to get the character done right. And like I said, I don't think he like didn't want Superman to be done right, but it's just the characters are different. And so like with Batman, when he talks about with Jim Lee about the love of the comics and what he understood, I've known for a long time that while James Gunn came across wanting to do Superman and saying he was a big fan of Superman, he was promoting the Superman movie, but he has always been a big Batman guy. Like he's always been very vocal on his love for Batman. And I think that I do trust him to deliver a good DCU Batman. I think he's going to do some really good stuff, and I can't wait for this Lego game. I like what you're saying about, you said your pitch for your Arkham episode origin idea. I remember you mentioned that. That was pretty cool. If we get Talon versus Damian, oh, dude, that'd be sick. James Gunn is the right person for the new DC, as we all see. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like everything he's doing with each of these characters, what I love about what they're doing with DC is that with James Gunn at the helm, one of the things I think Marvel struggles is like, even though we have our favorite Marvel characters, narratively, we don't care about the characters at Marvel because there's no narrative focus on like what's driving these characters. And like I really thought about that when Ken and I can talk about this towards the end of Demon Slayer. But that was one of my thoughts when watching the Demon Slayer movie, was that in my head was like, wow, this movie has stakes. You care about each of these characters, and like feeling the idea of caring about characters should be a narrative focus for these franchises we're watching. You should feel like you should care whether a character lives or dies. You should care about a character whether you liking their story arc they're getting. Like,
right.
and I feel like that's a common theme.
There's something to be said too for like the Zack Snyder thing.
Yeah.
Right, where it's like, okay, well, this isn't my Superman, blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, so look at Peacemaker, right?
Yeah.
People want to sit here and be like, James Gunn ruined Superman, right? Look at Peacemaker and look at how gritty and how much of a show that you may enjoy it, and it's funny and it's raunchy and it's everything you want it to be, right? Superman is not the character that you Zack Snyder fans want him to be.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That is a different version of him. And the
just in
movie
general,
we got is the Superman that we're supposed to get.
Yeah, and I think
And
just
it's
in
like-
general, when you think of like Superman, one of the things, not only Superman, but one of the things I've been toying around with, because you get these people that are still clinging on to the Snyder pipe dream, right? Like, one of the things that I think is so interesting is like when you build a universe, all your characters should be interesting. And Kenna has been very vocal on her thoughts on Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, but like, even though I love the actor of Ben Affleck, none of these characters, they're as a Justice League. I couldn't survive one more movie with their Justice League because there was nothing that made them act like a team. There was nothing that made them interesting. Like Aquaman
that's a good
bantering with the Flash, but I hated Ezra Miller as the Flash. I should want to see a good Flash actor like a good Flash stand next to Aquaman
Well,
and the banter with another character. They
my
should.
other.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I
my
just
other
think
thing.
the character should be more likable.
My other thing was like, so, like I feel like most of these Zack Snyder fans, like, they don't like Superman in the first place. To be like completely honest,
No,
like,
no, not
right,
at all.
right. Like when the Superman animated series used to play, they probably changed the channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh, I don't like it. Like I know plenty of people that are like, oh, I don't really like Superman. He's a goody two shoes. But then the Zack Snyder version is like, no, but like that's cool.
He's a
And
god.
it's like, but it's like, yeah, okay, great, but like that's not who the character really
They
is.
get like metal about it. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, look at him, he snaps on his neck, and he's so cool.
Right.
Like,
And that's fun, and that can be cool, and that can be fun, and I can love that too. But I'm
Mhm.
not gonna sit here and say that's what it should be all the time. When it's
Yeah,
like
no.
it's
agreed.
just
That
not what it
is
is.
the biggest issue. It's like, again, like I said earlier, like having different versions of characters, it's fun to explore. Like, okay, let's say we do have an edgier Superman, which was what Zack Snyder was doing. And if he just had maybe more time to think over how he wanted to do the DCU like franchise as a whole, and he really wanted to explore this more darker Superman take, I think the problem was that he just went by it too fast. Like he did the Death of Superman thing way too fast before the Justice League.
Oh yeah, everything was on like super fast forward. It was like, what's going on?
Right, like there's no breather. There's no time to really take it in, because rewatching Man of Steel and the Batman vs Superman movie is that he's not necessarily evil, but he just, again, doesn't really ignite that hopefulness that Superman should have.
But at the same time, I can sit here and say if we're gonna do a universe and we're gonna start it towards the end and
Mhm.
like tell a story about the like end of all these heroes,
Mhm.
that's kind of cool. But it's weird. Everything lines up in such a weird way. In like
I
an MCU way where it's like, yeah, the Justice League came together when Batman and Robin had already died, and like
Right, yeah.
it's just like
I think
Superman's dead
yeah.
and the Justice League just got together. It's like this
Right,
is
yeah.
all really weird timing for a DC universe.
Exactly.
But like it is cool the story you're still trying to tell ultimately. But I think to Joe's point now, just like these characters don't have that kind of personality that like
Right. I just
actually
think,
meshes well at all. Like
I think at the end of the day, Zack Snyder had like good ideas, but it's just really the pacing and the timing of everything that didn't work out in the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it was all just kind
It's
of
a
like
pacing, the timing. It's like
the studios probably didn't help,
Right, yeah, no,
I
definitely.
just think like kind of the thing that like for me, when as someone who grew up watching all the animated shows, the thing that I struggle with is it doesn't work when they like. So you look at like when Whedon jumped off as before all the stuff happened with Zack Snyder, before we got the Snyder cut, and you just look at that first Whedon Justice League movie, right? They thought the answer was if we're gonna have a dark Superman, then we need to bring a more lighthearted Batman into the answer, because people complain about Batman killing and being all dark and gritty in BVS, right? So they tried to give him like this established character arc. But the way you do Batman is Batman can still be dark and gritty, just don't make him a murderer. And then like you should still, if you watch those early Justice League, when you watch the animated like crossovers or Justice League, you watch Batman and Superman. Superman is the light and hopeful one. Batman can crack a smile from time to time, which Conroy was great at, but he's also still the Dark Knight. He's still the gothic, greatest detective of our time. He's still Batman. And
could you imagine if we actually got a Justice League movie to the quality of our first Avengers movie?
Well, that's what I'm hoping Zack Snyder's going to give us, because.
Oh yeah, you're hoping Zack Snyder's going to give us that?
Sorry, not Zack Snyder. On my brain. Forget what I said.
You and all the Zack Snyder fans, huh, Joe? I knew it. I knew it, Joe.
I knew I was being roasted for that. I knew my mistake was being roasted.
We know what you really are.
We got that recorded. Make sure. Make a clip.
Delete this stream.
Oh, that's clip. Repost it.
That's insane. No. I meant to say James Gunn because because Zack Snyder. I don't trust him with big team up movies. I trust him more with like individual stories. I think he's good. Like he did do Watchmen. Watchmen's all right, but like
Watchmen's amazing, dude. Come on. It's
It's great.
literally one of the best comic book
My thing-
adaptations of
my-
all
Now
time.
you roast me too, Jake. That's crazy. That's crazy. My chat is roasting me for making a mistake.
Chris wants to read something to tell us, but I'll
Dear
answer
God,
that one
Chris.
second.
Dear
But-
God, Chris, really? Chris is like definitely unsubbing now that Joe said that.
No.
God.
My thing
Joe,
about Batman
You
is
need to
that
beg for forgiveness.
yeah.
Yes, I do.
Roland,
I
yeah.
do need to beg forgiveness. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said what I
You
said.
have to make an apology video, Joe, with tears in your eyes, and then make it like an hour long.
Oh,
No, but
God.
okay. But
Apologies.
anyways, back to what I was gonna say. My thing about Batman is that I feel like people fail to realize that yes, he is a darker character compared to Superman, but Batman is also a superhero of hope, but just in a different way
Yeah.
than Superman is.
Right.
And again, with his whole rehabilitation of villains and wanting to never have another Gotham kid have their parents shot in an alleyway, like that's his
Right.
whole thing. So
I think sometimes when the feeling of hope hits with Batman, it's one of those gut punches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it hits you in a very different way than how Superman does, where it's like actual hopefulness. Like Batman gives you that like, oh fuck, like
Right, yeah.
It could be so much worse.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
it's just different, and I think that's
All right.
good.
I'm gonna read what Retro Lad wants us to hear.
And it's about Scarecrow, yeah.
Yeah, I do want to Scarecrow the Batman TV show where he kidnaps people and tests subjects for toxins. They have to try to survive, but it's like a Nightmare on Elm Street in a dream world. I mean, that would be cool.
I mean,
I'm just down for
I
any
wish
Scarecrow.
we could get a legitimate horror Batman Scarecrow movie. How
Me
good would
too.
that be?
Awesome.
Hey, maybe
And, like-
Clayface will open the door to that. We're getting a body horror Clayface movie, so
Sure.
if DC cooks with horror, maybe we start getting more horror integrated into.
I don't think we'll ever get like what I want out of it. You know what I mean? Where it's like I almost want like a long Halloween / Scarecrow.
Well,
like,
James
movie,
Gunn has
you
been
know?
very vocal about like if someone cooks a good script that he likes for a story, he's gonna make like my hope is when you think like crossovers, you think of like major events, you want to go full horror. I'm really hoping we get, and I'm hoping with like lanterns being put in the puzzle with all the characters they're saying, I'm really hoping we get Blackest Night one day because I think
we will.
Yeah, because I think Blackest Night would be really cool. And I think like some of the more horror themed stuff with DC you can do a lot more with than like say you could with some of the horror characters in the Marvel world, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, no, I think DC taps into horror way better than Marvel does.
like, the idea of doing
I mean,
like
look,
a
they were gonna make that Trench movie even, and that sounded really cool.
I was sad they didn't make that. Actually, I told Kevin this. I like James Wan a lot, and I would have liked to see that Trench movie because I think the Trench were an interesting concept of the first
Yeah.
Aquaman movie, and I wanted more of what that would have looked like for sure.
I still want that movie. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
man, I'm down for the Trench. If they reintroduce Aquaman and give us the Trench more, I mean, I wouldn't mind. I think it would be awesome. Give us.
I want Scooby-Doo and DC crossover again. I would love that, especially since James Gunn did write this.
Remember, Shaggy did show up in Creature Commandos,
He
man.
did, and he did in the background.
Possible. Anything's possible. And you guys forget, James Gunn did do those live-action Scooby-Doo movies. So if he wants to do a Scooby and Batman crossover, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it.
I know that they would be old, but maybe they could bring in the
Original cast.
Yeah, and just be like, oh, it's still the Scooby-Doo gang, but they're a little older now, and they're working with
I'm sure
the older
Matthew Lillard
Batman.
would be down for it.
Yeah, literally, I don't even care if it's not even the full Scooby-Doo gang. Just bring back Matthew Lillard. Like, I just want to see him.
Just Shaggy and Batman, and then you got Scooby there.
That's got to be an end credit scene.
You got
like,
Batman.
There's no other way to do that.
You got Batman and Ace the Bat meeting up with
work, yeah.
Or
like, give us
with Shaggy and
a
Scooby.
lengthy little Scooby-Doo like end credit scene, like the one in Thunderbolts, like one that long. You know what I mean?
I think here's the thing: is that I don't think a live act. I mean, as much as it would be fun to see Matthew Lillard and everybody else back on screen, like in the theater. I think the only way we could have a proper DCU Scooby-Doo crossover is an animated film, especially since they've already drawn Shaggy in.
But we've already done that. Everyone wants the live action. That's the whole thing. You know what I mean?
suppose, yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
I
I
don't
mean, if you're saying it's part of the actual, current DCU, I see what you're saying. But like,
That'd be pretty fun, Melissa.
Or maybe just
I
a fun little Elseworlds project. You
They could
know,
do something
something.
fun like that.
Yeah, you could do probably an Elseworlds thing.
I think that would probably work best in the
There's
long run.
potential for a lot of different options. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. I
Like,
think there's a way.
Elseworlds doesn't have to be dark. It can
No.
be
No, you
silly
can do
and
anything with
fun.
Elseworlds. You can do anything with Elseworlds. It really doesn't matter. I mean,
Like that's a
there's
movie you could throw Batmite into and all kinds of
No,
crazy
literally, yeah.
characters. Yeah.
I mean, James Gunn loves Batmite. He keeps mentioning him,
He
so
does.
we are gonna see Batmite soon.
He even brought up
Yeah.
Batmite. He was just on Two Bears, One Cave, and like I really didn't expect that, but he was talking all about Batman, and Tom Segura said to him, he was like, so like everybody wants the gray and blue. Are you gonna do the gray and blue suit? And he's just like, yeah. So everyone doesn't want the gray and blue. You know what I mean? He's like, because
What I
if
love
I
about James Gunn is that he just openly said, I read that article, and what he openly said is that those things aren't important to him. He wants
right
he
the
wants
character,
good story. Like he's
right?
not
He's
on
trying
his
to
mind
emphasize
as much
that.
as much as superhero costumes are important to some fans. He's not looking like, oh, I care about what Batman's wearing. Like he's very focused on making sure he thinks the story for Brave and the Bold is really good, and he's focused on, am I telling a good Batman story?
Right.
And
But I
to
think
me,
a good point
yeah,
he
I would love
made.
to have a blue suit, but like at the same time, if I get a good Batman story with a good Batman suit, I don't care if he's wearing black and yellow. What fuck? Put him in a rainbow fucking suit.
I agree.
I don't give a shit if the
No,
story's
I
like.
totally agree, dude. Give me. I at the end of the day, I don't actually care what suit he's in as long as it's a good
Yeah.
Batman movie.
Like
But
yeah, like I always wanted the blue one because I think that it fits the tone for the DC. If you look at the like Brave and the Bold cartoon, if you look at the because it's kind of be cool because you have Superman being red and blue. It'd be kind of cool to see Batman like rocking similar color scheme to him, but still the gray to represent the difference between Superman and Batman. But I
right,
also still think you do. The only reason I kind of lean more with I hope it's not just black is I don't want casuals to get confused with Pattinson because Pattinson's always going to have that darker.
right. But I
Armored
just
look.
want to see it go from like more hopeful, dark and blue, gray and blue Batman to the like
Yeah.
over time, like worse and worse things keep happening and he can't stop them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you get the darker and darker suits. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
what I really want.
I would be fine with that. I think that would be interesting. I am curious to see because at the end of the Batman, if you watch the Batman, I wonder whether they haven't talked about the costume yet. I would not be surprised if in the Batman 2, if there's some new colors added to the suit.
Yeah, I mean they
Because-
got to do something to it every
Because
time
you
there's
look at
a
it
new.
the first,
Yeah.
you look at the first movie. He's starting out as vigilante. He's driving into the vengeful vigilante route, but then by the end of the movie, he sees himself as a symbol of hope. Like with the flooding, he's saving those kids and he's doing all the things that he
True.
can do. So like, I'd like to see them lean heavily into that. Like in the sequel, maybe really just go into like maybe he's got some shades of blue in his suit or something a bit more of a brighter color to kind of just. Maybe added some yellow to, I don't know, whatever it is. Just
Like
add
there's
something
no
that makes-
superhero suit movies that come out that don't change the suit every single time that
They
they're
always
in a new
update
movie.
it. They always update it.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
I didn't think they would.
I think the only thing that didn't do
I
that
didn't
was
think they would
Christopher
change.
Reeve.
I really didn't think when they first revealed, when you look at the end of No Way Home, I was really surprised that they changed the suit. When they changed the suit for Spider-Man a little bit from what we saw at the end of No Way Home, because a lot of people really love that suit. But then with the new Spider-Man movie, they found the perfect way to make us fall in love with this new Spider-Man suit. We haven't even seen the movie yet. Like, because you're literally like, oh, okay, well, we saw a little glimpse of it that it's going to be homemade now, which is great. But, like, now they're, like, saying, oh, we're going to get the raised web in, like, Toby's suit and all these other great elements. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Imagine if Waller talks about the Batman Beyond project in the DCU. Oh, that'd be cool. I mean, I don't think we'll have to worry about Batman Beyond.
Wait, what?
He
If
said,
Waller
then we
talks
get
about the
on-
Batman Beyond project, what do you mean?
Oh, so he's saying like there's a project like because the suit to make Batman Beyond, like I think Waller might be involved with some of the tech involving in that.
So just like a reference towards it.
Yeah, I think just saying like hinting at that Terry could like be set.
That's super far away.
I'm
We
not
haven't
worried
even
about that.
seen
Yeah, and also,
Batman, bro.
My biggest problem with like Waller being tied to like Terry McGinnis is that it's I think it's been retconned, but there was this one point of a Batman Beyond story where Waller's like, Terry, you are related to Bruce Wayne, like you're like his son, like biologically, and I'm like, I don't like that.
I'm pretty sure they retconned that a long time ago, right?
They did, but like I hope that's not what they're gonna do again. Most likely not when we eventually.
I don't think they can do
You
that.
know, they
because-
brought back the Batman Beyond story like a few years back in a comic, and started continuing it.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten deep into that, but I'm aware of it.
So
Yeah.
Retrohead says it's canon, Kenna. It was in the Justice League ending, apparently.
Yeah, it's in the Justice League ending of that one animated movie, but I hate it. I do not like it.
I don't know why they don't just make a freaking Arkham Batman Beyond game. Like,
Actually, not true, Underground. We saw her at the end of Peacemaker season 1. And actually in several episodes of Peacemaker as well, a couple little quick scenes. When she's
Waller?
talking about Bio. Underground said we hadn't seen Waller since Suicide Squad. And I'm like, no, you saw her in Peacemaker.
Yeah,
She
she was in a scene of Peacemaker season 1 when she talks to Adebayo about putting the diary in Peacemaker's thing.
And she was in more than just that scene. Like, she also shows up at the end when the reason that we're seeing all the problems in season 2. Yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about that in a minute. That was my next topic, Chris. We'll get that in a second. Let me answer Underground first. But yeah, no. So Waller was in the end where they showed her when she got black booked, like, by the whole government now when she was exposed. Now that's what's causing all the problems with Hardcore and everyone, because she can only do so much to her daughter because it's her daughter. She's pissed at Adebayo, but she can't do a lot because it's her daughter. So she's applying that pressure to Hardcore and Economos and everyone, which is kind of weird that Economos isn't getting, like, maybe she just knows that Economos being at Argus is punishment enough because Argus is wanting to kill Peacemaker. Like, maybe that's punishment enough for him, but like, she really is going hard on Hardcore. Like, she just wants her off all the government reserves, and she was already pissed at them before Adebayo was even a problem because she's still mad at them for the Suicide Squad when they knocked her out.
Well, the one girl got fired that actually hit her, right?
Yeah, she got fired, but she hit her with the golf club.
Yeah.
That's right. But they talk about in one of the earlier episodes of the podcast where they talked about on the James Gunn Peacemaker podcast where I think it was Economist that said it, but basically Waller openly admits, it's really brief, but it was because I guess Rick Flag Jr. insulted her, and then I guess Rick Flag Jr. Yeah, and then basically because of that, according to the actor that played Rick Flag Jr., he's like, yeah, she basically sent me to my death because I made fun of her and called her a clown, and then literally she like, yeah, go die in Cult of Maltese.
It was I remember.
Well, kinda, but it's really because he takes the stance of not giving up the thing.
It's
exactly
the hard drive.
Right.
But yeah, it's the scene where like she's wearing a white, red, and blue like splatter shirt, and he's like, "What happened to your shirt? Did a bunch of clowns fuck on it?" And like, and then Economos laughed. Like they were all laughing, and she.
She did not like being made fun of. Yeah, Waller cannot handle criticism. She definitely gets pretty upset.
Well, it's perfect because they make you hate her so much. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's how she's always been in any comic, any animated adaptation. Waller has always been like, I think of her very anti Nick Fury. Like,
sure. I really hope though that they do the thing where like she intimidates Batman. I would really like to see that.
That would be interesting. I'm wondering what they're going to do because they were supposed to do a Waller show after Peacemaker. It's been kind of up in the air. Like, now there's rumors of it being a Checkmate show, which is a great comic book run. And I'm really trying to figure out what they're going to do with it because I've been telling Kenna that it kind of feels like they're trying to edge Waller out because what they're doing with Rick Flag Sr., it kind of seemed like with him being the director of Argus and stuff, even though his connection to Peacemaker, I also can see, I don't know, because there's different runs of the comics with what they do with Rick Flag Sr.
She's coming right back, bro. You wait.
Yeah, she probably will.
Rick Flag Sr. is gonna die. Maybe not right now, but he will, and Amanda Waller will be back in charge, dude.
Well, I think she'll be back in a different way, because I think what they want to do is I think Rick Flag Sr. I've theorized about this a couple times. I think as much as they've made him a nuisance to Peacemaker, I think something's going to happen at the end of Peacemaker that's going to make, just like with Creature Commandos, I think there's a little bit part of Rick Flag Sr. where he is meant to be more like, because you can't, even though you could do the thing where you bring back another variant of Rick Flag Jr., I think the reason to do a character like Rick Flag Sr. is because I think Rick Sr. is dead in Earth X. Peacemaker killed him. Oh, really? That's an interesting theory.
I like that.
That makes sense.
I just think he's such a easily kill-offable character. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but I think the problem is that we face into is if they do that, they're gonna do it. I've said this in my video. I think he's the Tony Stark catalyst for the DCU because what they're doing is they built him up in as a big character in the Creature Commandos starting the DCU, and then in the second project, even though he was more of a cameo, he played a pretty pivotal role in major conversations in Superman. Like,
but it could be just like the nurse from the Marvel Netflix shows. It could be not much of anything. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they actually have big plans for him because Frank Grillo has, when he appeared on that podcast, and James Gunn, they've talked a lot, and like it seems like there's a bigger narrative for him. Like, I think he's going to get a heroic death, and that they're going to use him in a big way to like kind of send off his character. They kind of made him seem like
I can see that.
Yeah, like I don't think like he's not going to be around for like 10 years or something crazy, but like I think we'll get a few projects with him. He's kind of like, I think of him kind of like Coulson a little bit.
I could see him die in Peacemaker this season.
I heard he's not dying in Peacemaker though because he's got other projects. So
okay. But I could see it, but like I believe you. You know, like, I can see him lasting longer too.
Like we could be surprised at the end of the day. I don't know nothing, but like I've heard from the way they've hyped up podcasts and stuff with him that James Gunn has been very evident that they think that they have big plans for him. There's another show they're working on that he's a big part of. Like they've said that he talked to him during Peacemaker. It's like, oh yeah, so I'm a part of this big project, and like I don't really know much, but me and James Gunn have talked about. I'm not allowed to reveal anything. But it's like it's massive, and we're building to this big event. And apparently, Rick Flag Sr. is clued in on whatever. Not Rick Flag Sr. Frank Grillo is clued in on this big, whatever the outline for the DCU, whatever this Justice League movie, this first big event that Phase 1 of Chapters and Monsters leads to. Grillo knows about because James Gunn has basically said like, "Hey, you're a big part of this, and I want you to know about it." Like, because I don't think if James Gunn's going to kill off someone. He's not going to give someone the details of the future of something unless they're involved in it. Like, right. Like, he's not going to let people like we don't have Tom Hollands at DC. We don't have people that are going to slip their tongue and just like say the wrong thing to hype people up. I feel like James Gunn's very careful about who he tells things.
Sure.
Like he's made friends with these people, but he doesn't go and text John Economos like actor Steve Agee, I believe. Hey Steve Agee, I casted this dude as Batman, and then he just goes on Twitter and starts like spewing out nonsense, getting excited. Like I don't think you're getting those conversations
because like I'm sitting here and I'm like I'm excited for the next DC show. You know, like I want to know what the next DC show is. I can't wait to watch whatever the next. Okay, well I can't wait. Literally, no matter what it is, I can't wait because the quality of Peacemaker in both seasons has been so good that it's like. I'll watch whatever they put out next, which is so funny to look at compared to the MCU, where the TV shows seem like more of a pain for everybody. You know what I mean? Where it's like, here's another MCU show. Do I have to watch the shows? This whole thing's becoming a giant chore.
We're not getting too many at once, so they're taking little bits of them, and it's making it kind of fun. Because then the less we get, like I love that we're getting shows, but I love that there's big gaps in between them. Like, I don't think Lanterns is going to come out till, I want to say, maybe March next year. So I think it will come out before Supergirl.
You know, another year or two from now, everyone's already going to be joking around about how much better DC is than Marvel. You know what I mean? Like,
we just got to accept that
it hasn't happened yet. Like, this year we got the whole, like, Superman came out and people are like, brah, 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 brah. You know
I think it's funny because people can debate all they want, but we're still 3 for 3. If you look at consistency and you look at the real people that actually really enjoy what DC's doing, a majority of people are, I love Creature Commandos.
I just think
I
we
love
haven't had enough momentum in this new DCU for everyone. I mean, obviously, we who keep up with it, yeah, we understand.
yeah.
But like the casual moviegoer, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, just not everybody's on that same page yet where they're like, oh, DC's really good now and like better than Marvel. You know what I mean? Because like we've only had a few projects really.
I just
And
think people will like it because it's starting off so fresh. Because of what
sure.
Marvel's doing right now, I
Yeah.
think they're just looking at the high road and going like, "Holy shit, James Gunn's coming out the gate with 3 projects that are super solid."
Oh,
'Cause
dude, and that's what
when
I
you look
mean by
at
a
them,
year from now, 2 years from now, like people are gonna all be saying like, "Wow, DC's really like hit it over and over and
well, that's the
over
thing
and
that
over."
I think is going to change things because if you go on this year, we get these projects, and then I don't know how many projects we get in 2026, but if Lanterns and Supergirl are like next level, like I see this is a crazy prediction because I love Spider-Man. This is hard for me to admit. If there's some way out there that Supergirl, because they're both releasing in the summer next year, if Supergirl and if Supergirl is even an inkling, even if we enjoy Spider-Man and Spider-Man is a really good film and it just kind of, hey, it's great to have a really good MCU film, right? But if Supergirl is like 10, not to discredit Superman as a movie because I think Superman is a great movie, but if Supergirl is better than Superman in like every way as a production, as like it's great storytelling, great action, great music, great.
Oh, it
Like,
could be because I mean we got a basic Superman story.
yeah.
That
So
that
like
can be
if
kind of
they
boring to
give like,
people.
but if they make a good Supergirl movie and it's like narrative female-led character in the front line of things, because people have their opinions with Marvel, with all the female-led characters not being good. If they do something incredible with Supergirl, I think that's going to be the first real sign that things are in a good direction. Because
I think you're right because that's like, and also I think it's very possible because it's a character we don't all know. You know what I mean?
I think
Like,
Marvel's getting killed already by the fact that DC's doing a fun show like Peacemaker and the way that they're doing the multiverse already. So when James Gunn does finally do Crisis, people will be on board with it because the way that James Gunn's already treating the multiverse at this current moment
right.
is like in this small doses of like, and I really do think, I don't want to get my head canon like crazy, but like I was talking to Ken on the phone earlier today, I have some pretty big theories, and I've heard some things from the from the mouth of the from the actress that plays James Gunn's wife, that plays Hardcore, Jennifer Holland. She's been saying a lot of hype about episode 6 lately. And James Gunn even said, like, now a lot of people forget this because there's only 3 episodes left, but James Gunn keeps saying, he doesn't say a lot about episode 7, but he keeps saying when people, he's like, which episode are you most excited for people to see? And he keeps saying 6 and 8. Like, he keeps putting that as 2 numbers. He says 6 and 8. He says episode 6 and episode 8. And we know why episode 8, because it's the finale. But episode 6 kind of makes you go, what's in this episode that you're trying to hide, James Gunn? What are you trying to give us?
We'll know in 2 days.
Yep, it's crazy, but it's like the president's seen this. He's not like sending out early screenings to people. He's like, no, you can't know. I won't allow it.
That's amazing.
I already have a theory that the trailer, I put together some footage, and one of the things I think we're getting is, because I always love to see, one of the things I enjoy about Peacemaker is I think even a show like Peacemaker, I think the choreography of
they kill it.
It is just so good. And like, so I've already seen people speculate that one of my biggest, I only have one complaint about Peacemaker season 2 so far, and I told Kenna this, is it's that I don't like seeing so much Adrian being Adrian. I just want to see Vigilante, and I saw
sure.
in the trailer that Vigilante's back in the suit, and I couldn't stop being giddy. And then I did some deep editing in the scene, and they're in the other dimension now because remember Hardcore. Oh, have you seen episode 5 yet?
I haven't.
Okay, I won't say it then, but something happens where like eventually we're all going to be in the other dimension, right? And It seems like they're setting the stage for somehow in this next episode, Vigilante and Keith are going to go at it. Like,
okay,
it looks like it's going to that level, which I think Vigilante, as much as he's a comedic character, I think he's going to be the one that kind of starts to point out to Chris, dude, I know you like this universe, but this universe is bad. Like, there's not a single black person in this universe. Like, there's like I think he's just gonna start to notice things. And Peacemaker's
right? Yeah, of course,
like,
him.
Shut up, Adrian. Like, what? Like, I think he's gonna deny him at first. It's like,
right.
You're just mad that you didn't get to come to my orgy. Like he's gonna, like, well, someone said Yeah, Clayface. Oh, that's the other thing. Next year, there's 3 projects because you're getting Lanterns, Supergirl, and Clayface.
Nice.
That's crazy.
What was I gonna say? About Peacemaker.
Yeah. Oh, no worries, Jake. I understand. Yeah, I think just like it's gonna be crazy. I still think I don't want to get my hopes up, but I will say this, especially after the beatdown that happened in episode in the episode that you've not seen yet. I do think that and I told Kenna this, there's an inkling that we see Lex Luthor in episode 6. There's a reference in episode 5 that makes me think that he might appear. So we'll see. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but he has teased big cameos in these last 2 episodes. I do think that the trailer, when you watch the trailer for the next episode after you finish episode 5, Luke, they're giving nothing away on purpose. Like,
Right.
there's something they're hiding. Like, because we know about Keith, they want to tease fight scenes. That's all stuff that's cool and stuff, but we know these characters already. So there's a reason he didn't want this episode to be known. And I don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure we're going to find out. Oh, so you won't be here for episode 7. That's what you're saying, Jake? Okay. That they said, oh, if the Earth X theory is true, it's the beginning of Crisis. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah, I think Ultraman is coming in one of the episodes too, Chris. I mean, I think it's pretty interesting that like right a week or 2 ago when they did the rest of the season of Peacemaker, they kept re-showing the black hole scene from Superman where Ultraman got thrown out of the portal. Like, so like if he went into the other Earth and went to 1962 or whatever, and then he's stuck in and he took over this other world, it'd be pretty interesting.
Well, first of all, let me say, Chris, damn it, dude. Every single time he thinks everything is going to be something for Crisis. I remember this before. Like, it was like, dude, that could be a hint towards Crisis. Like, I think it could be maybe a hint towards it, but really, if anything, it's just something that's happening.
I mean, if they're smart, they'll set up Crisis as soon as possible because they want to build it up.
Right.
It's bigger than anything Marvel's ever done in the comics. So
Sure.
If you wanted to build up Crisis early on, as long as we don't do it too soon, but we have subtle hints to it, I'm fine with that. I would rather them establish it so we know that we know where we're going.
I think we're getting, if anything, extremely, extremely small references. Just like the fact that Earth X exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
sure.
At least I'm fine getting little things, little teasings, because at least they're building it up. With like,
right. No, I agree
Marvel,
with that.
With Marvel, when it comes to Doomsday and Secret Wars, it just kind of feels like it just came. Like, it's just like we're not even here at Doomsday yet, but it feels like we're just we did this whole stuff with Kang and Ant-Man and all this other, and we did Loki and all this other stuff.
Yeah, no, we haven't built up to this.
It's like, oh, it's just here. It's just like here. Like, just like there's no build up. And like with the Avengers stuff,
they're the ones that started
Thanos. When we built up to Infinity War and the Infinity Saga, following a similar story to the Infinity Gauntlet, but its own story, we built up to the threat that Thanos was. We built up to what we were getting. Like, if we just start seeing through these DC projects over time, different multiversal changes that start leading into Crisis happening sooner than later, like it would make sense to start build subtle things. Crisis is how you end the DCU and reset it with Flashpoint with Wally/Barry. Yeah, I mean that's ours, but I also don't think like when you think like end the DCU, this universe is just now starting up. I don't think they're gonna end it anytime soon. Even when they do Crisis, if they do like a reboot, it will still be the DCU. They'll just change certain elements. Just like with comics, they'll do like a reprint or a rechange of like new stories. It won't. You're not gonna end a new universe and then say 10 years down the line, just the universe is done. Oh, we're gonna restart, reboot, whatever. Like they can reboot, but still make it feel, different. Oh well, yeah, they could do New 52 DC. That could be something they could pull to, I guess. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, you could do New 52 or Rebirth, something like that. Oh, what did Melissa say? There's something she was trying to get my attention. What are your thoughts on my theory for Batman's costume? I didn't see you said something about Batman's costume. Maybe I see it here. I can see them adding a very subtle, very dark layer. That'd be kind of interesting. Never thought of purple on a bat suit, but I mean, maybe kind of cool.
You can't do it. People would outrage.
Purple would make people mad. You think?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
cool idea, but people will outrage. You can't do
I
it.
feel like if I had to pick a suit, if we can't get the blue for whatever reason, I think the safest point, because we've never had a bat suit with it. I think the best move to do is to do New 52 DC. I think the best move to do would be to do either dark gray and add some yellow, or to do like I just don't want another black Batman suit. That's all. I don't care whatever color it is.
Yeah,
Just for the love of God, don't make another just
I agree.
jet black Batman
I
suit.
think the new 52 is going to be what's going to happen. The gray and the yellow and the
Yeah,
black.
I could see that.
But
That would
I
make
think
sense.
that it's going to be actual cloth.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, we're not getting an armored suit. We're getting a cloth suit of like how Batman kind of was in the beginning of figuring it out. Even
Did
though
you
that's what we
watch
got with Robert Pattinson, I feel like we're going to get a similar thing with Brave and the Bold, where it's like we're already a few years into Batman. This is how he's been doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, with Brave and the Bold, the big difference is like even if there's a time jump in Batman 2, with Brave and the Bold, well, it's not been confirmed yet. We'll see what James Gunn decides. I've kind of done my homework, and I'm looking at the new 52 timeline and some of the other things storyline wise. I think we're going to see a Batman that, especially since he already showed up in Creature Commandos for that little brief cameo. I think we're looking at a Batman that's 7 years in. I think he's been Batman for 7 years. Like,
okay,
and he's been
maybe.
active like that. And so, like, because what we know of so far is that he has a Bat family. We're gonna see Nightwing. We don't know if Jason is dead still, or if Jason is going to be Red Hood already alongside the Bat.
We're going to be talking about this Batman movie for so long, dude. We don't even know who Batman is yet. We don't know who Alfred is yet. We don't know who anybody is yet. We're going to slowly get casting reveals and then everything else.
James Gunn says the Brave and the Bold script isn't done, but what he's read of is good. He says it's really good. So,
right.
So I think that's good. Alfred might be dead in the DCU. You never know. I mean, I don't know, man.
No, there's no way.
You gotta have Alfred. Oh yeah, and then Chris wants us to talk about because Kenna watched
the video.
Batman 2 Mad Hatter video.
Yeah, so like everyone's like, Hush is gonna be the new Batman 2 villain, or it's the Court of Owls, or it's Scarecrow, or it's Mr. Freeze, like literally anyone in the book. But I watched that video, and the guy in that video mentioned Mad Hatter. And
so,
I like the idea of Mad Hatter.
That makes sense. It goes right in line with doing Riddler first.
And I've been quiet about this a little bit, but I am not a fan of the Hush being the villain in Batman Part 2. I see why people think it could be Hush, and if I were to go actually see the movie and Hush is there, I'm sure it would be great. But I'm not really on board with Hush or the Court of Owls. I definitely think the Court of Owls could be set up, but I don't think Court of Owls will be the main villain in Batman.
I don't think you get. No, Court of Owls, it's way too early.
Yeah,
they would save
maybe
it up.
The third Batman movie we could do a little Court of Owls, but here's the thing: is that Riddler in the past before the first Batman movie, he's like a goofy guy. He's a goofy villain a bit. You know, he's the Riddler, but the way that they portrayed Riddler in this movie was so different, and it worked so well while still keeping intact his riddles.
Right.
So if we're gonna do more in depth of like the more kind of clinically insane but somewhat silly, but also would work within the world of Matt Reeves' Batman, I think the Mad Hatter fits perfect.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's great too. I know, and I did want to tell you, I know you're not going to be super thrilled about this, Kenna, but there was a new interview with the guy from Eternals, Barry Keoghan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
Barry Keoghan?
I got some bad news for you.
What?
In this new interview, he kind of was asked about his next Joker appearance in the Batman universe. And I guess he knows some things about the script for Batman 2 because someone asked him some things if like there's been any development on what next is going to happen with this Joker. And he literally answered in the interview saying, I can't tell you anything. So That's
Oh.
kind of interesting.
Well, here's
that
the thing. If here's the thing, even though it's a deleted scene, and even near the end, you hear his laughter, right? He's
It's
the one laughing.
Elseworlds.
Yeah.
I've already, even though I for the DCU, I've said this before. I don't want the Joker to be the main bad guy already. He can be there, but don't make him the first threat yet. Make him the other threat later. But with Matt Reeves, I'm not upset by it because I've already accepted the fact that he's there. He's there already. He was laughing in the cell with the Riddler at the end of the movie. There was a deleted scene with his face reveal. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that he's going to make another appearance in the Batman 2. But again, what's so smart about Batman 1 is that, yes, Riddler was the main villain, but you also had Falcone and the Penguin in there. Yeah. So, again, I don't think, hopefully, maybe Joker won't be the main topic villain. He'll be there.
I think, that movie is so damn good. And then it's just like, it just had to. It just had to end the movie with, like,
the Joker
hey,
laughing.
Here's the most, like, contrived, fucking trending bullshit thing that we could put in the end of the movie. Hey, Joker, you know that thing that's more popular than anything that just got 2 fucking movies? Like, let's put Joker in this now because everyone can't get enough of Joker. So, it's like, and it's a terrible version of it on top of that. It's like, please, no.
Right, yeah. I just hope that maybe when he makes another appearance, he's not out and about. He's just in, like, his cell still in Arkham. And maybe Batman is interviewing him, trying to find Mad Hatter. Or whoever the other villain will be. You know, kind of like how when the Riddler finally got caught, he was interrogating him about, what he's up to, blah, blah, blah. So
if you attempt Joker and you don't pull it off, you end up like Jared Leto. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
And that's it. It's like we had Jared Leto, we had Joaquin Phoenix, we had freaking
Keegan.
You know, like it's just and Gotham even the show Gotham had a Joker that was terrible.
It's just that I feel like for a lot of people, Joker is just that villain
overused
Batman that just too many people they think of, and like it just is kind of one of those things that
Here's
like
the thing,
it's
Joker
like
will
you need to do it right. That's the thing, though. It's so important to do right, and everyone's like, "Hey, what if we all try it?" It's like, no. What if you all just give something else a shot to see if you can even do that right? How about that?
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is like Joker will always be important to Batman, of course. Like that's why he's so big, but there's just also so many other Batman has a big villain rogue gallery, one of the biggest. You could do so many other people.
Why always Joker? It's like why?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping that when he I'm just hoping that when he put Joker in that movie, that in the ending, I'm like, even if we're hearing Barry Keoghan just kind of like if there's little like cameo roles, like I like your idea, kind of him just being in Arkham for a quick scene or something, because like the way that I look at it is. Like Chris made a great point here is like you can even tell, even though he has a bond with Batman already in that movie, he's not Joker yet. Because the point of doing this the Batman thing, the difference between this and the DC Batman is that we're in beginning. So like even though he went to prison already, we don't know what really he went to prison for.
It's just
because
too much.
The thing we understand from what I know is that he's not Joker yet. So.
But, like, it's just too much Joker. Because then, dude, you know what happens next? Is fucking now we're talking about the DCU Joker. You know what I mean? It's like, how many Jokers are we going to do? You know, like, I feel like it would be just such a nice refresher to have the Batman universe
Joker,
not even have one.
DCU Joker. Like, here's the thing that makes me excited. If Andy Muschietti, if these reports I'm hearing, Andy Muschietti not being involved with this movie are true, if he gets off that project, I don't think we have to worry about Joker for a while. Like maybe we get a little hint, maybe we get like a little tease, like at most, because we're gonna see maybe they do the Fantastic Four thing with a montage of the different Batman villains that have been defeated.
I think so. I think we'll get something like that.
And that could happen. But then if Andy Muschietti still directs Brave and the Bold, because of Andy Muschietti and his work and his body work that he does, then, unfortunately, Joker's the main villain of this movie. That's my big fear. That's why I want Andy Muschietti gone. Because this is what happens. If Andy Muschietti is still attached to this movie, it's Bill Skarsgård as Joker, and that's the frontline plot. Like, so I want him gone from this project because that's what I expect from Andy Muschietti's body of work. So,
I
and I
think
think
if
Kenna
you
knows-
make Bill Skarsgård Joker, it's not gonna go.
I agree. I don't want that. That's why I'm telling you. Is like
he's already
that's
been
why
a clown.
we
He's
need
already
that
been
guy
a
as far
clown.
away from the project as
I've
possible.
been saying that so much all the time. Every time Bill Skarsgård's brought up in conversation of playing the Joker, I'm like, that's just gonna be Pennywise. However, I do like the take of having the guy who plays Art the Clown from the Terrifier movies being the Joker.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah, he's.
Chris says, get the John
You
Wick.
could see it better. I don't
would love
know.
that. I think that would be awesome. Yeah, but Joe, he's the director, not the writer for Brave and the Bold. That's true. That's true. So maybe he won't have that much influence. I
Here's
still want him.
about-
on.
Yeah, but that's even worse. So he's the director, not the writer, or the writer, not the director. Which one was it?
Saying he's not. He's the director currently. He's not the writer. So
Yeah, but that means that he's gonna want things to look a certain way. You know what I mean?
right.
So yeah, I feel like that means more so you're gonna get an actor that he likes. You know what I mean? Compared to the writer. Writer wouldn't have nearly as much say about something like that.
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
But here's
But
my
I've heard multiple reports that he's pretty much out as director. Like he's when they talk about like if you listen to the conversation about Brave and the Bold right now, you're not hearing. It's not James Gunn, Andy Muschietti, and new writer. It's James Gunn and new writer talking about.
Well, it's just like the Batman is just so up in the air, man. Like it's just like we don't know what is going on.
I've said this for a while, and after that Batman Beyond the Scenes interview, and I know there's gonna be people that are gonna hate on this, but I'm gonna say something kind of wild that I kind of think is gonna happen, and I think that people are gonna just kind of have to accept this. Don't be surprised when, like, because you hear about there being a new writer, and I know he's not gonna direct every film, but I'm just gonna say this right now, and I'm gonna continue to say it for a long time. Don't be surprised if they say, "Oh, Andy Muschietti exits the Batman Brave and the Bold for whatever different reasons there are." But then you know what you're going to see the next headline as? It's going to say, reportedly, James Gunn will direct Brave and the Bold because Batman is too important of a character and he understands Batman that there's no one else they can get to direct. Like, I see him ultimately directing Brave and the Bold, or at least writing it, because I just don't think, for one, I didn't think Andy Muschietti was up to the job. And two, I just don't think, I just don't know. I just don't see the way James Gunn. If you watched the behind the scenes Lego video and Kenna watched it, he feels more passionate about Batman than he does Superman. And like he was very passionate about Superman, but like something about him with Batman, it's like there's a reason he's taken so much time working on this. James Gunn can't direct everything. He's gonna be burned out. Oh, I agree, Chris. But
no, he's not gonna either. And I mean, just look at Peacemaker. He doesn't direct like half of the show.
Yeah, he didn't direct all the episodes because he's filming Superman. So yeah, no. Hopefully they'll get if they need to get a new director. Hopefully they'll get someone that really knows Batman and really does a good job. I personally, because Batman, the difference between Batman and Superman is a lot more like power based. I really want someone that is a openly action director, or at least hire good choreographers.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say earlier. Peacemaker. Yeah. I think not even Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad. I think the scene where Peacemaker kills Rick Flag Jr. is one of the best choreographed scenes in all of superhero movies.
Yeah, because of course you have that great scene where they see where this fight starts and they have the helmet reflection of Peacemaker's helmet. You can see the camera. I love the John Wick director for it.
Not even just that, but like it's just the fight feels realistic. Something does. Like like it's just the way it's captivating. So many superhero fights I feel like in movies, like they're just boring. You know what I mean? And like it's another like, all right, let's beat everybody up and keep on moving.
Well, that's one of the things I've noticed too. Like that's one of the things I think the MCU struggles from in terms of fatiguing everything is that the action, even though there's been some action scenes in movies that have been good, I think DC, even with things like Superman, even when like some of these with like some of the stuff we're getting in Peacemaker, the action feels fresh. It feels enjoyable.
So I will say I don't necessarily feel that way about Superman. I do feel that way about
Superman as an example. I don't necessarily think that either. I was just saying in general, it as a movie, I don't think Superman is a movie that necessarily you need to have like I don't think the fight scenes in Superman are like god tier
Like,
level. I didn't
there's
watch
this
any of
scene,
fight
the
scenes.
scene with Mr. Terrific at the end with all the balls and Lois Lane being protected in the sphere. Like, that's one of those scenes I'm just waiting to end. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun and it's funny
I
and
like the
everything,
director, Chris.
but like, it's just a scene that I'm waiting for to end. Like, and I feel that way about a lot of superhero fight scenes where I'm like, okay, let's wrap it up. Yeah, I get it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
you didn't like the fun scene?
with all the T-spheres.
Yeah. So when he
Yeah,
jumps
but,
in and kills all the guys.
I mean, it's fine and it's funny, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, this is my point about that scene in the Suicide Squad. Like, it was one of those scenes that I feel is just so well choreographed that like
See,
it
I
kept
like
you
that scene though because out of
on
all
the
the
edge of
scenes
your.
with Superman that there are for the fight scenes, that was the only thing that we got to really see.
What,
Uh,
Mr. Terrific, like, do combat wise?
yeah, and it was like the first time for people that don't know Mr. Terrific. That was a great way to introduce him.
No,
So
I think it's cool to
like,
see it happen in that sense, but in the sense of like the choreographed like quality of life, like
look, like I said this before, and I've said this before. I never expect a Superman movie, even though Superman is a great character and can do really cool stuff. And you have other characters in the Justice Gang. I never thought Superman was gonna have outstanding. Because for me, when it comes to action, and I know it's different with like superhero movies with like the super powered characters, but I still don't expect like action design and action level from characters like. I just don't think that you can have.
no, Superman's giant punches and big explosions and laser eyes and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and that stuff
Like,
is cool for like Superman stuff, but like when people want when I think action design and I think like stuff like your point about the Peacemaker stuff. One of the reasons I love Peacemaker and I still think this will continue to be the case is I keep thinking about the idea, and I thought really hard about. There's a really good scene in episode 5 that you'll like, where I really like how Peacemaker, even though there will be eventually superhero characters introduced, but I think Peacemaker gets really right, and like your point of the Suicide Squad was great. Is even though Peacemaker kind of comes into this universe as kind of like a joke, looking at the Suicide Squad and kind of like, oh, I'm like this version of Bloodsport, but we're different but same, right?
right.
I was rewatching the scene in episode 1 of season 2 today, and when I was rewatching, I really love the interview where not just for the comedy reason, but I like how Chris is so sure of his skills, and episode 5 kind of cements why Peacemaker is not only like beloved in the terms of the character and like how the like obviously love him for the comedic effect of John Cena and what he brings to the role and even some of the emotion, but we don't talk enough about looking back at season 1, looking back at season 2, because I think a lot of people, they hear Peacemaker and they hear guns. So like when he says in the interview, I'm considered the finest marksman of the world, right? You know, that's awesome because, you know, guns, you know, that's his thing. That's super dope. But he also mentions that not only guns, but like any weapon, you know, we've seen him in season 1 use his little shield, and he used a sword in the Suicide Squad at one point, and that's cool. But I've also noticed, like, you look at that scene in you look at that scene that you're praising in the Suicide Squad between Rick Flag Jr. Rick Flag Jr. has incredible military training. Peacemaker probably has equal to that amount of training, and like someone brought up a great point. I don't know why this hasn't been established yet. I'm starting to think that the reason that Peacemaker is going to interact with characters like Superman in the future is that because someone brings up a point, and I'm trying to dance around this. I know you haven't seen episode 5. There's now 2 instances that prove that there's something about Peacemaker that proves that there is a little bit of something superhuman about him. Like, because, so in the Suicide Squad, he gets shot in the throat by a Bloodsport, right?
Maybe his dad experimented on him and he doesn't know it.
Yep, exactly. Because then in episode, the reason I think about this, something even more lethal happens to him in episode 5, and Kenna knows what I'm talking about. There's another big blow that he takes that a normal human should not be still standing after they take that blow. And it's something Senior does to him. So, like, all I'll say, I'm not going to reveal it too much, but there's a scene in the episode. They kind of hinted at it in the early trailers, but there's something that happens in this episode where things don't go the way. Like, my whole point with Peacemaker was like the earlier stuff. Oh, someone said something in the private chat. Oh, let's see. Oh, kind of my take in general for the DCU.
Oh, you can read it later. That's all.
Okay.
Your
All right.
thought.
So like I just feel like I just feel like the idea of like I think it's kind of cool that we've built up, like, we talk about Peacemaker with guns and all these different weapons, but I like that they're also, even in season 2 more, we're kind of leaning into, I kind of like that we've been seeing more of Peacemaker outside of the suit, because we're getting a lot more hand-to-hand combat with him. Like even in that one episode when he saved those people in episode
3.
what was it, episode 3? And then there's a scene in this episode where they teased it from the trailer from the beginning of the last the ending of episode 4, where they all want to have all their agents ready to go and nab Peacemaker in the park where Hardcore's trying to set him up, right? And when you get in that situation, you're going to see a point where you watch that episode, you're going to go, oh wow, that because John Cena's background in wrestling, they've done a great job for the action design when they designed. And I heard about this in I think it was in one of the season 1 versions of the podcast, but they talked about how John Cena, one of the things that made him the perfect person to play a character like Peacemaker is, while he claims to be a master of most hand-to-hand combat, he definitely they lean heavily into that John Cena was a wrestler. Like,
right,
you can tell that from the choreography
well,
style.
Then why wasn't Black Adam good?
That's different.
Rock is really that. I don't know. I mean,
but like I've recently been seeing these.
I never saw Black Adam.
That, like there was a version.
It was okay, to be honest.
There was a time where, like, as much as I love the actor, because James Gunn and him are friends, people talk about, there's interviews where John Cena admits openly he was not the first pick for when James Gunn wrote Peacemaker as a show. He wrote it for Dave Bautista first, because he wanted to give Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista's got to be crying, dude. He's like, another character I missed. Damn it.
No, he literally was the one that turned it down. Like he had some other thing go on where he couldn't do it. Like he would have liked to have done it, but I also, as much as I love Dave Bautista and he's proven himself in the acting world, I don't think he could do what John Cena has done. Like I just don't think that's, like, maybe you could write, maybe he'd be amazing.
I think he could have done it. It would be different.
Yeah, it definitely would feel different. But
yeah,
I feel like
he could have done it.
Like
I think there's more depth with John Cena. Surprisingly, I don't think we would have thought that. Like
I think it's funny that people are buzzing with The Rock in this new UFC movie, like trying to get up for his Oscar. But I'm still over here just like loving the fact that we're getting these amazing scenes with like the John Cena's level of acting. They're just in something like Peacemaker. As much as we love the fight scenes and the comedy bits and everything, the diving into the real emotions scenes with John Cena is just so good. Like,
I mean, that's the core of storytelling right there.
Yeah, like just the fact that like, I just remember going back to season 1, like when I saw what happened at the end of the Suicide Squad. I loved Rick Flag Jr. so much that like I just did not want this Peacemaker show. Like I was like I hate this guy. I love John Cena. I do not want to see this guy. And then that trailer came out, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it.
and then boom! Do you really want to taste it?
And they got me hooked, and now I couldn't get. And now it's like one of my probably favorite shows ever. It's like I couldn't do anything about it. It was just like it's just incredible. Like it blows my mind. It's just like I've fallen in love with the idea of like John Cena. Like you talk about like when you brought up the scene about the Suicide Squad in that big fight. It's just so cool. A show like this, like. When you think superhero shows, you look at the MCU superhero shows, even though we get things like Daredevil, everything is always kind of like they try to dial it up to 11 and think they're going to make these really good concepts. And like, I appreciate that. Like I've tried to find it. I know there are comics, but whenever I try to find anything for Peacemaker comics, I just don't see any references of like what they've done that kind of compare to like what they're doing with this Peacemaker. Like I'm not seeing anything. Like it almost feels like James Gunn has done things with this character that are like there's definitely ideas from the comics, but he's mentioned multiple times that like he made changes. Tony said when you hear the music before an action scene, it's predictable. What are you talking about? Like
oh, I know what he means. But
it's crazy to think Chris Pratt has played 2 Guardians of the Galaxy. First was Guardians movie, and second.
Joe, I just want to say because I feel like we've been going for a while, and I want to talk about next week's episode a little bit.
Want to get Rebels in a little bit? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you guys should also talk Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
And
we
I'm gonna-
should. Yeah, we
and
can
if you-
finish that. We'll finish out with that right now, and then we
Well,
can hop on
you
Rivals
can
and discuss
and
it.
talk Peacemaker. Go spoilers on episode 5. I'll bounce, and you guys can talk those two things. One thing,
We
but
kind of already
before
talked about it a little bit. I feel like we don't really need to say anything about episode 5. Do we, Kenna?
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about episode
I
5.
feel like we're all pretty content. We're both just really ready for episode 6 in 2 days. So
okay, but
you-
yeah, talk Demon Slayer, and
we'll talk Demon Slayer.
but I just
then
want to say that next week, on top of, so let's do like what, the first 3 DC animated movies.
Yeah, so we got animated stuff. So next week, do we want to watch anything and review anything animated next week? Like, is there plans? Like, we can
Well,
dive more into on
watch-
Rivals.
If you, it sounds like you want to start doing the DC animated movies, right? So
Is that what Chris was saying in the thing, that we should watch them? I was confused.
yeah, I mean, we don't
Yeah.
have to. So here's the
I'm
thing:
down.
Marvel Zombies just came out,
Yeah, so
And
we'll
we were
watch
to-
Marvel
Tomorrow.
Zombies.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
I think it comes out.
and tonight as well, the Alien Earth finale comes out.
I will watch all the episodes by the end of the weekend. We can do a full series review.
Right. So I would like to do a big Alien episode on the next
Do you
episode.
want Alien to be its own episode, or do you want Alien to be mixed into an episode? Like what?
I would like it to be a big part of it. If you guys also want to watch some DC animated movies, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Marvel Zombies, what? It's only 4 episodes.
Yeah, 4 episodes.
Yeah,
Okay, so we could do that, and
yeah.
I
We'll
mean,
do Marvel Zombies, and we can watch. So let's think first. So I'm trying to think DC animated movies. So what would be?
just start at
you
the beginning.
watch-
Let's go in order chronologically of whatever.
So what would be the first chronological? So are we watching Tomorrowverse when they first started their like connected DC universe, or are we starting like
Just
from like
start at the
first
beginning.
ever
That way
draft
we can make
animated
our
DC?
way through every single one of them slowly enough.
What
you
was
know
the
I mean?
first DC animated movie made? Would it be?
What? I don't know. I
I have to
don't
look it
know.
up.
Yeah, I'd have
Chronological
to-
order. There's a lot because they've done a lot of different animated movies over the time. So like you have
Yeah,
stuff
they've
that
done a lot.
you have the Master of the Phantasm when they did the animated Batman. Then you
Oh
have
yeah,
like,
if you go that far back, yeah. If we're going like before they kind of started doing more modern ones, like VHS one. If you're
Yeah.
going back to VHS one, you got like, but those are all on there too. So why not?
I don't mind
like,
going far back. Wherever you want to start, I'm game. I
yeah,
just gotta
we'll
know
go far
what we're
back
gonna
as we
watch.
can.
Plan it out and figure out what we want to watch, so we know what to prepare. Master of Phantasm is the first DC animated movie. Okay, yeah, that's fair. So we can
That's cool
start
because
there.
I actually have never seen that one.
Okay, we can start there because
Now-
we've been talking a lot about the animated Batman series. I mean, we had Batman Day the other day. That'd be a pretty good start, I think.
Sure.
And then
Yeah. So we'll get a Batman movie in. We'll do Alien Earth, and we'll do Marvel Zombies.
yeah, from what I understand, there's more or Justice League Flashpoint. From what I understand, there was more in that animated universe. There was more than one animated Batman movie too. Like you had like
Oh
there,
yeah.
like I think there's that one with Mr. Freeze in it that's really good too.
There's the one
That
with
one-
Batman. I think it's called Batman Superman or something. Where
There's
it's
that one too. There's
literally-
a crossover.
Yeah.
Batman
yeah.
and Superman where they did the 2 animated shows collided into each other, and they had Lex Luthor and Joker team up. And then there was also one where it was like I think it was like Sub-Zero or something, but it was Batman against
Yeah,
Mr. Freeze.
The Mr. Freeze one.
Oh yeah, there was a Mr. Freeze movie. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so we
Cool.
can definitely
I
we can
love it.
definitely dive into it. We can at least get what you think you want to try and get 3 movies done. Why next week?
Maybe the one makes sense just because
Okay.
like I feel like Alien. I'm gonna go off.
Yeah, we're gonna go
Yeah.
up on Alien. So
I
I'm like
said
I'm gonna finish the
let's watch-
series.
we just watch Mask of
Let's
Phantasm.
focus on Master of the Phantasm. So we'll do Master of the Phantasm, Marvel Zombies, and we can talk more about this when we play Rivals together too.
And we're
But-
gonna talk Alien Earth, but I'm probably gonna dive into the whole universe of Alien. To be honest,
cool.
with
Yeah.
this, yeah.
Start
So.
with DC animated. Batman, Sub-Zero. That's the one's a classic. Yeah, it's a good one. I like it.
I'm probably gonna read some Alien books, so I'll send them to the group chat if anybody else is interested in reading them before the next episode.
yeah, heck yeah, man.
But, yeah, so you can always check it
Start
out.
with DC animated.
I
so
gotta with
Rivals in about what we should see in Rivals in what about 10 minutes.
something like that. Yeah, you guys talk Demon Slayer. I gotta go to the bathroom so bad, so I'm gonna bounce.
Good.
It was good
Yeah,
talking. though.
Jake, I'm gonna see in your chats. I'm gonna answer you in a minute, man. I'll let you know if we decide to talk spoilers. We might just be vague about it because we were trying to be nice to people that haven't been. So
All
not
right, take it
spoiled.
easy, guys. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah,
I gotta
take
go.
it easy.
Later, Luke.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I guess everyone, I guess Luke wanted us to talk with Demon Slayer for a minute and stuff because that was one of our last topics we had on here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to start, Ken, or you want me to lead?
My Demon Slayer take on this movie is that before this movie was coming out, I kind of lost my momentum for the show, even though I was the one who got Joe into it. Like, I'm still a fan of the show, and I still like it. But for a hot minute, I just kind of stopped watching it. Like, I stopped caring about it. And while I did finish the seasons to be all caught up for the Demon Slayer movie, I still wasn't, like, again, the momentum wasn't there anymore for me. But then I saw the movie, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is a good movie. And at first, when I see a good movie for a first time, especially in a while, I kind of don't really have much to say because I'm like, wow, this is a really good anime movie that I've seen in a really long time. So I'm kind of speechless a bit. I just say, it was really good. But then later on, I kind of let it really sink into what I saw, and actually have a proper formed opinion on it. And I think it is, like, really good. Like, it's really good. I love the story, and I loved all the characters in the movie, and I definitely agree with what they're doing forward, is that they're not going to do more seasons. They're going to finish the story with movies. And I think that format fits so much better than
I think cinematically and just in general, like with anime, with this sort of storyline, it's perfect for me because, like, even when I was watching the end of the Swordman arc, I was like, okay, if we're pushing this narrative here, and we know we're starting to run out of demons. I mean, even if you could run a couple more seasons, if you run this with a couple more movies, you're really doing this justice in a way that serves the narrative, and I think that that's really cool. And like you got me super into Demon Slayer. And like you, I kind of felt like the same way, like until I kind of forgot that the Demon Slayer movie was coming out, and then like Chris was kind of bumping us over the head consistently with it, and like, and then I kind of like, oh yeah, shit, right, I should probably catch up on that, and so then like I caught up on it, and I fell in love with it again, and then the movie just cemented to me more why I love this anime, and I think doing movies is the right approach. Because then movies gives me more time to be like, now instead of working about binging a show, I can just know I saw the movie, I know where we go next, I'm ready for the next movie. And then I think that's a good way to do it. Because then just let the story tell what we know, what's left off. And yeah, Jake, you don't have to worry about it. We're mostly just talking vague right now. And we might mention characters' names, but we'll try our very best to not dive too heavily.
We won't say major plot points.
Yeah, we'll say major plot points that we know of, but like nothing that's like specifically spoilers for the movie. Like, I'm not talking any deaths. I'm saying, I really like the story. The rumor is that they will milk the Infinite Castle and Sunrise Countdown arc. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I could see that.
Episodes for Crunchyroll? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, but anyways, yeah, I think Demon Slayer is one of the really good animes right now. Obviously, there's really good other popular ones right now, but I think Demon Slayer is definitely super popular right
now. I think it's a great end because when you look at like this anime, when you think of like when you really like something, like my thing with Naruto, I've always loved Naruto, but I think with Naruto, I wish they would have never done Boruto. I wish Naruto would just ended.
Right, I was going to say, I think Demon Slayer, so far, what they're doing is great with their story, is that you don't know how they will make it to the end, but you know that there is an end. And it's going to be well written, and the animation's beautiful, of course. And it will just be good to see. Again, as much as I still like Demon Slayer, I do think personally it's not my top favorite animes of all time, but it's still pretty good. It's still up there high.
Yeah, I saw that, Connor, what you said. And then Jake, when we talk, Batman, Demon Slayer, Jake, Batman in Demon. He's teasing with spoilers. No, Jake. If we name characters, we're not going to name any characters that, like, where you're at in the series. No one that we've mentioned so far, when we talk about certain characters, will we allude to them being dead or not. So, like, there's difference. Because when you watch season 1, Jake, after you finish season 1, you'll have to go and watch the Train movie next. and then you can start the next season. So I don't know if are you watching them on Disney Plus / Hulu? Because if you're watching them on Disney Plus, jump right into when you finish the first season, go and watch the Train movie, because there's characters. We'll dance around them for the most part, but like when we talk about certain characters, you won't know who we talk about until we literally, until you literally watch the show. But nobody that we've talked about so far, or even when we've just been vague on the plot details and the story, we're not going to give any spoilers here for the movie. And like even when we know things that happened from the previous events, we'll talk about the characters as the characters are presented in the story, not whether they die or not in the story. Because like the movie does have stakes, Jake. Like there are very serious stakes. It is very emotional. There's great things, but I'll keep it as vague as possible, stating that it's really good. No, watch the first episode of the second season, then The Train for a good experience. Interesting. That's not how I did it. But I guess you could do that. Yeah, but I'll know who you're referring to when I get to the point they're introduced, so I'm going to head out. Oh, no worries, man. That's fair. That's a fair take. No, you're good.
I don't really have much to say about the movie.
Yeah, we're not going to talk. I'm going to say a couple things more for the audience and stuff, but we're not going to talk too much longer about it because I know Luke and everyone there.
The stream is heading to an end, so.
What'd you say?
I said the stream's heading to an end.
Yeah, it's heading to an end. I'm just going to give my final thoughts, just being very vague about it. I love this movie. I wanted to I just really feel like animation and anime, like, you know, you watch an anime movie, and you're like, okay, this is really good. And I really like, with Kenneth's side, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say like, it's hard to say what's something like, there are obviously other good animes, but like the animes I've seen, out of all the animes I've been into, this is probably the one that's the most consistent for me, that I'm fully into, that I'm fully invested in the characters. Like, with Naruto, I liked the characters, I liked some of the storylines, but then I kind of got lost with some of the stuff. Where, like, with Demon Slayer, I think there's not a single character that I didn't like in the story that I wasn't invested in, except for maybe the stupid guy that was annoying. And I can't remember what his name was to save my life. But the orange, the yellow-haired kid. We'll say. Yeah, I've heard that. I heard those are good ones. I do like One Piece.
I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's one of my favorite animes.
Yeah, you really enjoy that one. I want to try and figure out Chainsaw Man because that movie looked kind of good. Do you think the actor who played Jimmy Olsen in Superman will be in his own TV show, or will they do a recast? Oh, I think he's not getting recast for sure. I think they'll definitely do a show. I think they talked about doing one. So, but yeah, no, I think my final thoughts on Demon Slayer is like, I think it's great. I've heard about that too, Chris. I think the movie is fantastic. I think it has great action. I love the story. I was amazed because even just watching the story arcs, even though I liked the Train movie and I thought all the other points and I like all these characters, this movie really felt like an experience. And this is the first time in the cinema, like when you're watching a movie, like Superman is a good movie. You're watching Fantastic Four, they're all good movies. They're all like, but you know what I think is really cool about this Demon Slayer anime movie, Kenna?
What?
It reminded me about why we go to the movies.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It just that experience of like the actual like entertainment portion of like what it was like. Like this movie, as much as it is an anime movie, I got a lot of Infinity War vibes out of it, where like you kind of felt like, wow, this is dark and crazy, but like you're cheering, you're grinning ear to ear, you're getting emotional, you're getting different, like your feelings are kind of all over the place, and it's kind of wonderful. But anyway, guys, that's all I got to say about Demon Slayer for now. If you want to hear my more thoughts, I have a review that's been posted.
A full review on this channel.
Yep, so check it out, guys. I think we're going to get on Rivals a little bit, and we're going to discuss more plans for next week. So see you guys next time, and thanks for watching episode 31 of Legion of Creators. We'll see you in the next episode. We're signing off. Captain Multiverse and Kenna. See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Perfect.